Hey everybody, hello YouTube. Um, Welcome to anybody who is experiencing extreme microwave torture, gang stalking, gaslighting, just a tyranny and torture in your life to you and your second. See if some people kind of file in, but today it's like about 4 p.m. It's December 7th, 2020. If you are in chat, welcome, and I wanted to go over some of the new articles on Havana syndrome. I wanted to go through some of my, as a person who's getting doused with microwaves and hitting the clavicle and the head with microwave attacks. I also wanted to hey, Eternity Eternal says, "Hi Kyle, got a notification. Hope you're doing well." I hope you're doing well too, man. I'm extremely tired. I'm just extremely tired, and I guess it's from the targeting. I mean, that's the only thing it could be. Just extremely tired, but some good news, mainstream news about pulse microwaves and them hitting agents and embassy workers and normal people. It's like flooding out. So what I'm seeing now is that it's not like the dam's about to break. The dam is breaking. The dam is breaking, and it's just about throwing out all these news articles. I wanted to talk about some things too. We're going to get into the articles, guys, and welcome if you're in chat. I hope you're doing well. I'm just extremely tired. It's hard to think, and my attacker's just kind of a race say. So we're gonna get into it, but there's some kind of I'm wondering why these articles are coming out now, like at this time. And then I want to show you guys something. I want to show you guys something real quick. We can just get started as people come in, and then we can chat after I kind of go through some of the information. But I just wanted to show y'all what they're calling this, right? We remember the Cuban embassy attacks, and remember the China consulate attacks, and then a bunch of agents are getting hit with remote microwaves, and we're getting hit with remote microwaves, and people still kind of want to say, no, that's not happening. It's really interesting. Let me show you guys these. I got a bunch of articles to go through. This is from the BBC Canada. Havana syndrome. Havana syndrome. In quote, Havana syndrome. They keep calling it Havana syndrome. Like they're even calling the attacks at the China consulate. They're calling the microwave attacks by the agents in Australia and the one in Russia got hit. And there's many others. And then us too, just normal citizens being hit by this stuff. But they're lumping it all together and calling it Havana syndrome. And I think we know why they're doing that. Because if they called it something like global targeting or something like that, then it would lead people to the truth. And they want to keep people's perception on Havana. Like this is just relegated to if you go to Cuba. They want people's mindset to be like this just happened over there in that one place. That's why you know, like, okay, so NBC is reporting this, all like New York Times and everything like that. They're all calling it Havana syndrome, and we know what the mainstream media is, an arm of the military-industrial complex. So what we kind of what's the word for it? What we can infer from that is that the Pentagon wants it to be called Havana syndrome. It wants it to be called Havana syndrome because it wants to point its finger at Cuba and Russia and everything like that, and it doesn't want people looking into it as something that is happening to people in every country, right? Let me show you all another article. We're going to go through these two. Hey Steven, what's up, man? Steven says, what's up, Kyle? How are you guys doing? I was so tired that I was like, I'm going to put this off, but I got to start making videos. I got so much backlog of just huge articles about active denial systems being used on troops in India. They just brought out Havana syndrome now, and we're going to go through some of my theories, right? I'm going to show you all the factual articles. We know what we're going through is factual, but I'm just like scratching my head. Why are they saying government scientists have just established concretely, right, that it was pulsed microwaves that hit the embassy workers? Why now? And I'll tell you why. I think because there's so much stuff flooding out. They're targeting so many people. This is about to change, right? And so they're trying to jump on it and say that, oh, they're just finding out about it, and just put it out like this, right? And hey, I love Jesus and he loves me. I love Jesus and he loves me. Says, hi Kyle. Yeah, tired too. It used to be I can take a nap and feel refreshed and energized, but those days are gone. I'm always tired and unable to do things I used to do. Yeah, I slept like really good last night. I had all my headgear on and everything. And then I got up and took it off, and then my attackers like kind of got back on my head, right? They've been stimulating my cranial nerves and stimulating my vagus nerve so much that my head is sore, right? And that happens a lot to me. Like if I like touch my head, it's like really really sore because they're putting a field like on the head and stimulating the cranial nerves. And hey, Rose says, hey Kyle, how are you doing, Rose? You guys are hanging in there, right? Eternity Eternal says, I'm seeing more and more articles as well. It's becoming common knowledge globally. That's what I'm seeing. So we gotta push. And let me say this, and hey, True Kism says, hello Vulcan. I don't know if I say this enough. I don't know. Like, I think I said it like a while back on my videos, but then I kind of stopped saying it. At the beginning of this, like, let's say 2014, like the overt targeting started in 2011. In 2014, I was like yelling at my attackers in the house that eventually burned down, yelling at them, they're messing with the God of Jacob and Moses and David and everything. And during that time, like, God put it in my heart. Like, God, it wasn't for my attackers, and I get things. Sometimes I can see a big picture and it seems to come from somewhere else, and it's not my attackers because it's good knowledge. But this time it was like the Holy Spirit infusing with me and in my heart and in my soul and in my mind and everything good. It was saying, you're not going to have to die being tortured like this. Like, it was a feeling like, and so, that's why I fight so hard. I fight so hard because it's right to do, right? We're being tortured, but I mean, that feeling, it was a definitive, like something like God saying, you're not going to be tortured like this your whole life. So I just want to tell you guys that, because I don't say it enough. And for some of you, it might mean nothing. That's just Kyle or whatever. Jesus. It's like, this is like one text from Walmart, and it keeps dinging my phone every 2 minutes. Oh! To some of you, it might not mean anything, but to some of you, it might mean everything. And so, that's why I'm saying, the UN was a devastating thing to me, because I was like, here it is, here it comes, it's going to come out. But after that, I was a little bit kind of crestfallen, but still that same voice, and it's not my attacker, says you're not going to have to go through this until you die. And I really believe that voice, and I feel that it's soon. Can I make this analogy, guys? And hey, Laura says, same Kyle, the roots of my hair are crunchy on the top and skin so sore there, burnt. Yeah, it's because they're like stimulating the cranial nerves, and they have to either put a huge stream of energy or a field around the head. And it's like my head is super sore this morning, and they were also hitting me in the clavicle, like right here, and it hitting a muscle that goes all the way up, and then also doing remote neural manipulation stimulation of the vagus. So like after that last live stream, like I got hit so hard with targeting, I felt like a robot or Dr. Manhattan or something. It just felt like my head had been hit with a bat so many times that I was like, I didn't even, I thought something had been damaged or something. Also true, Lori Smith. Lori Smith says it's human instinct to fight and survive. Yes, that's also true. But this feeling that I had back then, and I even have it today, like I've had it all the way through, but my head has sometimes said, I've talked to TIs that are like, this isn't going to end for us. We're gonna die being targeted. And I'm kind of, yeah, maybe so, blah blah. But this feeling is so strong and it's so true. And I just want to say that to some of you it might not mean much. To some of you it might mean everything. It's not really why I fight. You know, I fight even if we had no chance at this. You know, I'd still be putting information out. But it's a very real thing. And then I was going to say something else, but I forgot it. And hey, Tanya Rose. Um, okay, awesome. That is great news. Listen to this, everybody. True-kism. And I need to check this out, True-kism, but I'm still going to read it, and I believe you, but I still want to confirm what you're saying. True-kism says, Vulcan, Niels just came out about cyber stalking online. He is working hard on cyber torture, heavily with a team. Okay. Yeah, what I had heard is that he told Liliana and Magnus Olson that it was a 2 to 4 year plan working to stop these programs. Then we see all this stuff coming out from mainstream media everywhere about remote microwave torture. We don't know the news stories going on, like the news stories coming out of Russia, news stories coming out of China, news stories coming out of everywhere, but it looks like there's a deluge to put this out in some way. The bad thing is that when the military industrial complex does this, right, we've talked about this, that they're probably going to try and do it in a way to push the blame away from them and put it on somebody else, like a scapegoat or something, but it will come out. And, I don't know. Like, I hope that just the truth comes out, that the military industrial complex is doing this and a whole lot of contractors are doing this stuff. But we'll see. The dam has burst, though. And so let's go through these articles. Before I start blabbing too much, I'll say hello to everybody. Hey, Gloria. Gloria says, Shalom, Kyle, and fellow brothers in Christ. Shalom. I'm not going to say shalom. I'll say, like, God bless you, Gloria. God bless all of you. God bless all of you, and live long and prosper. Live long and prosper. Rose says, did you listen to SHP last night? She had this guy on last night named Mike who said he thought of a way to stop the gang. It's awesome. Yeah, I listened to a little bit of it because my friend Lee, his name was Lee on there. He is doing a lot of the same stuff that SHP is doing. So I listened to him talk. It wasn't during the live stream, though. It was like this morning. And I listened to some of it. And I definitely gave it a thumbs up. That's great. What was his idea? Let me start on these articles, but if you want to put his idea in there, or maybe he could come on sometime. Me personally, like the mind control, the remote neural monitoring, remote neural manipulation so bad, the microwave torture so bad, the gang stalking around me, it's been going on so long, and some of these people are older and they've started to question what they're doing. So the gang stalking for me it sucks. The vehicular stalking really sucks. My attackers stopped every light on my way back from my doctor's appointment today. And I got one light vehicular stalking in sheriff's department cars. But I really want to get the torture and the killing stopped. These gang stalkers are so dumb. They don't know crap. They're working for DHS fusion centers. I don't know how we're going to get DHS fusion centers to go away, but if we can stop like the physical and mental obliteration and rape, then we start dealing with everything else, right? I want to deal with the priority. Gang stalking's a part of this, though, so I'm not, I get gang stalked and everything, and I know it's a big deal. For me, though, it's just we got to get this torture stopped, And then what would happen, like if you weren't tortured with microwaves and you weren't triggered, like when you see a gang stalker, your attackers didn't remote manipulate you to be anxious or be angry, would gang stalking even matter? How much more could you just ignore that? Or incredibly make them look so much more stupid than you can, even when you're being microwaved to death over decades, and you still make them look like retards because they're criminals, right? But yeah, that's it. We need to stop that too. I heard that Ray Schumann, I heard he was on remote. I gotta watch that interview before I talk about it. I'm gonna watch it before I talk about it. Hey, Jennifer. Jennifer says, hi guys. Gloria says, oh my gosh, awful. Will the frequency attacks stop if there's an EMP attack? I doubt it would knock out all the electronics and the infrastructure that they use. But maybe if an EMP attack took out all the power in America, no, I don't think so, because I think an EMP attack would take out all of our power would go out, but I think these military bases where they have integrated directed energy weapon systems, they're on like specific generators that may not be affected, because like we have power outages all the time, like in my whole city, and I'm still targeted. So I don't think they're on the same. They're not connected to the same grid. Maybe it could take the grids out that the military does. The what's it called? The military bases are on. Okay. Rose says Kyle Mike comes on at the end of her video. He said something about suing them, suing the gang stalkers. Well, you'd have to sue DHS fusion centers. You sue the Department of Justice and sue DHS fusion centers and sue the FBI. If you want to go after gang stalkers, you sue DOJ, you sue DHS, and you sue the FBI, because the FBI is running InfoGuard. DHS Fusion Center is running these community policing people, and then also you're going to want to sue the Sheriff's Department too. So you've got a bunch of different entities running different forms of gang stalking that all collide on one target. But yeah, that'd be great to sue them. I think that we need to sue, the people that are using the weapons on us. I think that needs to be the priority. I don't mean to be dismissive about gang stalking. It has been hell in my life, in conjunction with the microwaving of my brain and stuff, and whittling me down, and then having to deal with gang stalking. Yeah, it's a big deal. But man, my priority is the death, the killing. Yeah, Jennifer Burns says, Kyle, they actually attacks on the local news here yesterday. That's a great segue. Let's go into these articles, guys. And there's tons of it. CNN's reporting it. That's what you got to say. Look, let me see. This is NBC. I want to find the one. Okay, that's BBC. Let's go to this one. I think this was. Okay, this is NBC right here, right? Havana syndrome likely caused by pulsed microwave energy. Havana syndrome, you see this is mainstream news, and they're going to keep calling it Havana syndrome even when they say this. Look, Havana syndrome likely caused by pulsed microwave energy, government study finds. Exclusive report on neurological symptoms of U.S. diplomats in China, Cuba, does not address whether directed energy was delivered intentionally by a weapon. Let me tell you, because targeted individuals, right when the Cuban embassy attacks happened, we said that's microwaves. That's pulse microwaves. It's remote microwaves. We all said it. And I was talking to my dad this morning, and I said all these scientists have come out and collectively agreed that it was pulse microwave energy that was used in Cuba for the Cuban embassy attacks. How did some mentally ill kid and a bunch of mentally ill people know right when it happened that it was pulse microwaves? Well, maybe it's because we're being hit with pulse microwaves, and tons of targeted individuals are around the globe, and we already know about this stuff, and these jerks in the Pentagon and the mainstream news are trying to kind of hold it back, right? And just kind of, oh, it just happened in Cuba, blah, blah, because we're torturing our own citizens. So maybe that's what's happening. So I can tell you that it was intentional, because these weapons have to be pointed at somebody. How could it not be intentional if it's like however many embassy workers being hit wherever they went, like it was just some kind of accident or something like that? Let me open my tablet, guys, so I can read y'all's comments on it. But yeah, this is good weird. This is good weird, right? Why now, right? Why now are they coming out with all these stories about remote microwaves and agents being hit by remote microwaves and everything? Could it be that 2021 is coming up and they're doing this Agenda 21 deal, and they need to speed up everybody's knowledge of directed energy because they want to get more of the public getting hooked up to this stuff, right? I don't know. How is that going to happen? Because people are going to be scared out of their minds knowing about this stuff. They're not going to agree to be hooked up to it. You know, I think the vaccine is going to be some stuff to put into people to make it easier to hook them up to directed energy. I don't see how people are just going to. I don't see how they're going to reveal this and still go along with creating a neuro society. I don't know how it's going to happen, but this is good. This is good that this is coming out. It's weird that it's like at a time when all this stuff is coming out and everything's happening that more and more articles about this stuff are happening. Why they decide to finally admit, yeah, this is pulse microwave energy right now? It's a good weird. It's like it's kind of telling me, it's kind of showing me that the UN thing is not a joke, and Niels Melzer is really going after it. But probably these people doing it, they're going to have time to go ahead and reveal it the way that they want to, right? And we've got to stop that. We've got to kind of catch the wave of them trying to reveal it how they want to, and then try and really tell people what's going on, you know? I guess if it ends, it ends. That's kind of where I'm at, y'all. I'm like, I want the torture to end. Like, I wouldn't even care. You know, we need the gangs talking to end too, so I'm not going to say that. We need the targeting. Just everything about the targeting is so unconstitutional and so inhumane. I almost said though, I was like, well, you know, if the microwave targeting stopped, I wouldn't even give a crap about the gang stalking going on. But that is, it's serious. You know, it's a serious thing. It's not a non-serious thing. Give me 1 second, y'all. And we'll read this article. I got a couple of articles here. And then there's even more stuff coming out that we got to tackle. Oh, the heat on my chest. I had to start taking kratom again. My external hits were so bad. Let me get to my page real quick so I can read y'all's comments. But I'm going to go through this. This is really good news, y'all. This is like the timing on it is really good. This is showing that the agencies that are doing this have decided like that this is coming out. Now how is this going to come out? What's going to change for us? How is this going to happen? I don't know. But it's a really that's right, Jennifer. So Jennifer says gang stalking is part of the mind control perception changes. So all goes together. Yeah, definitely. It's just like if they weren't doing the remote neural manipulation and triggering me and stuff like that, and I just had my freedom, like, yeah, I still want the gang stalking to end. I don't mean to be so flippant about it. I'm just in a lot of pain from the microwave attacks. Yeah, Jennifer says they have definitely allowed it on the news for some reason. Yeah, I totally agree. Oh no. Tanya says, Kyle, they weaponed me in the hospital for hours yesterday and it blew my head out. Yeah, that's how I feel too, Tanya, today. Yeah, Steven says, nobody stalks me. Everyone knows they would have big problems if I seen it or people were being weirdos. Yeah. That's actually a good idea. Rose. I've thought about that before. I don't know how that would work, but that is a good idea. So Rose says the RICO Act, Racketeer Influenced and Corrupt Organizations Act. Mike wants to sue under the RICO Act. You would sue under the RICO Act. You would sue the Pentagon. So you'd sue the Pentagon and the United. My attackers are just going to do that the whole time. Yeah, you would. I don't know. I don't know who you would sue for the RICO Act. Department of Justice and the Pentagon are probably at the top of it. You know. And I guess good because the thing is, even if you bring it into a Supreme Court, then and if you bring it to a Supreme Court in any country, the problem is, right? The problem is that Pentagon is going to send an agent, or the CIA, or whoever they send is going to come talk to the Supreme Court and say, look, you can't release any of this. This is national security, right? So that's our problem. That's our problem with just regular lawsuits. Now, people have gotten settlements because they show up with implants, right? And there's no refuting it. And they can point to the hospital who did it to them and stuff like that. And then these agencies will come in and go, okay, we'll give you a settlement, but you can't talk about this anymore, right? But the whole court case that sets a precedent for all of us, like one target individual goes in, they're being hit by this, they've got implants, and they win that Supreme Court case, and the Supreme Court case sets a precedent for every targeted individual in the United States, or if it's a Supreme Court in another country, right? That's when we have the problem of these agencies stepping in and saying, nah, this is national security, right? That's our problem. But that's a good idea. It's just how do we carry it out, you know? And we're going to figure this stuff out. ADHD Alternative says, I have hundreds of thousands of dollars stolen in possessions and in vandalism. Pets killed. See Facebook targeted pets. Yes. My Pepper has been tortured unbelievably, so she can't hear anymore. Hey, Christina. Hey, Nicholas, what's up, man? I got to get in touch with you, man, because you need to come on for a live stream, dude. Arachno Nixon, you didn't get a notification? Everybody put your notification things on the third one, like on the highest one where you just get everything that I put out. And please, and everybody thumbs up too, so this can get out. Okay, let me get started, y'all. I hope I said hey to everybody. This is really important news. This is the tip of the iceberg, guys. This is the tip of the iceberg. This is happening. It's happening. Yeah, and that's a problem too. Jennifer brings up a good point. Okay, she says, even if you sued a particular doctor for implanting you, I don't believe the targeting would stop. So an example is Richard Kane, who he got implanted. His two sons got implanted. He knew the hospital. He sued the hospital, the Department of Defense. He sued the president. He ended up, I think, like, I'm not sure, but like this is what he said, that he got a settlement, right? And the targeting didn't stop on him or his sons though, and he ended up having like a seizure later on from it. He got the settlement. He won the court case like that, and then the targeting didn't even stop. You know, so that's kind of a good point. We've got to make sure that we're stopping it. Okay, Nicholas has a good link. Federal judge declared watch listing unconstitutional last year. Oh, watch listing? There are a lot of gears turning. Yeah, definitely. Okay, so Havana syndrome, and you're going to see it. You see all these articles I'm pulling up. They're calling it Havana syndrome because they want to make people think, oh, this is Cuba, right? Even when they're talking about China and all these agents in Russia and Australia being hit, they still call it Havana syndrome. That's called propaganda. It's a psychological operation of making people think it's relegated to tiny Cuba, right? When it's just happening all over the globe. And then they're even, see, this is stupid. It's an exclusive report on neurological symptoms of U.S. diplomats in China. Cuba does not address whether directed energy was delivered intentionally by a weapon. Duh, it would have to be. If it's pulse microwaves, it would have to be. So by Brenda Breslauer on December 4th, the mysterious neurological symptoms experienced by American diplomats in China and Cuba are consistent with the effects of directed microwave energy. Listen to what they're saying. Yes. Listen to that, guys. Did you hear that? This is mainstream NBC News. I told you guys, things are going to change with this. The whole world, the New World Order is coming in, new normal, CV. I don't know about our future, but this is going to change. I'm telling y'all, I feel it. I felt it for a long time, and I feel like I was feeling it was getting close. That's why I got really disappointed with the UN thing. But it'll just happen another way. It'll happen with a bunch of things coming in. The mysterious neurological symptoms experienced by American diplomats in China and Cuba are consistent with the effects of directed microwave energy. And what have targeted individuals been saying that they're being hit with for so many years? Directed microwave. I love it. I love it how this article from NBC, this is the propaganda machine, and they have to say directed microwave energy. According to a long-awaited report by the National Academies of Sciences that cites medical evidence to support the long-held conviction of American intelligence officials and the long-held convictions and experiences of targeted individuals, and basically what anybody with a brain said right when this happened. James Giordano said it, Dr. Hoffer said it, we said it. Like, I made the first video, I was looking back to 2017, and I was like, this is microwaves. They're being hit with microwaves. When they were saying, ooh, this mystery, right? So riddle me this. Riddle me this. How does a mentally ill kid that people... And somebody left a comment on my video the other day saying, you ain't being hit with dew weapons. And it brought me right back to that nurse when they put me in a blue suit and put me in the mental place. She was like, you ain't being hit by no ray beams. And they're the people that don't have to go to the mental institution or whatever. You know what I'm saying? These people that are so dumb and they're just waiting for their turn, for their children and themselves to be cooked by microwaves. You know, but they get to go about in society and not be tortured and gang stalked. You seeing a pattern here? Seeing how like really dumb evil people are like left alone, but smart good people, well, we got to get them. We got to get them and their families. We don't want anybody being moral in this system where we eat people exists, right? The report obtained Friday by NBC News does not conclude that the directed energy was delivered intentionally. That's dumb. That is dumb. That's dumb. The report obtained Friday by NBC News does not conclude that the directed energy was delivered intentionally by a weapon, as some U.S. officials have long believed. Well, energy weapons that Cuban intelligence had were probably supplied to them by Russia, because allies of smaller countries help them with these weapons for data or for Cuban intelligence to zap and remote neural monitor a couple of CIA agents posing as embassy workers. We'll give you these weapons, you give us some data, and kind of like do this to America and Canada. Did you hear about any Russian embassy workers getting hit with microwaves in Cuba? Mm-mm. But they say it wasn't delivered intentionally, maybe, did not conclude, but it raises that disturbing possibility. I don't know why they're beating around the bush on that when they're saying directed microwave energy. How can directed microwave energy hit somebody if it's not directed at them purposefully? Was it like a space alien that accidentally directed it towards them? I mean, it doesn't make any sense. So the report was transferred to Congress after, the report was transferred to Congress after bipartisan calls led by U.S. Senator Jeanne Shaheen. Let's remember that name, U.S. Senator Jeanne Shaheen, a Democrat from New Hampshire who is a senior member of the Senate Foreign Relations and Armed Services Committee. She issued the following statement: the health effects from these mysterious injuries have tormented those afflicted. And us, everybody on this live stream, we're all being hit with microwaves, and our health and our brains are messed up from it. Mrs. Jeanne Shaheen. Yes, Laura Ann says, this is our time to speak out. T.I. should speak about this clear and confident when asked. Yes, it's time, guys. Hey, Just Aaron, how are you doing? It's time, y'all. It's time. Awaken World says, my body nerves, these weapons affect my spine. I understand that. My attackers will hit me in the upper spine, up here sometimes, but then sometimes they'll just remote neural manipulate all the way down my back. Oh man, this is good. Hey Alan, this is good, guys. This is good. This is seeing this, and I'm like the timing and everything, and 2021's coming up, Agenda 21. These people are trying to do this great reset, and they're trying to get more people into this transhumanism stuff. Like we're already, the guinea pigs, the beta tests, or whatever tests, because they've been testing people so long, and it's just weird. Yeah, Jennifer says, I do wonder if some of these people are still targeted like the CIA agent. I do too. I would suspect that they are. I would suspect that they are, yet some of them, the pain probably stopped and the ring in their ears probably stopped, and probably the remote neural monitoring is running on silent. They may not be trying to make these people do a bunch of stuff with remote neural manipulation, but they want to see they go and everything while they're in America, right? It's so crazy to think about that they're like intelligence agencies in like Russia looking through the eyes of Americans in America, right? Like agents going into the CIA buildings or whatever, and then America has that attached to some Russian agents too. It's insane how this is being done, and then like us just being targeted in our homes too, and everywhere we go. Hess75 says, I wish I could listen to this right now. Okay, Hess, just come back later. Just listen to it later. I'm going to read these articles. I've got bigger stuff, right? I got a backlog of things that are just coming out in the mainstream media. Arachno Nixon says, compensation. Yes, I want compensation. Oh, True Kism says, it's over, guys. Just a little longer in compensation with laws and recognition. I don't know. I mean, it's going to be a process. I don't know if we're going to get compensated. Maybe. There's just so many people being targeted. It'd be a lot of money. It'd be billions of dollars, man. It would break every country. We deserve compensation. We deserve millions of dollars from what they've done to us. We're gonna see how it all plays out. I'll tell you all if I want to speculate on what I think's what's gonna happen, but I know that things are gonna change drastically because they are changing with the New World Order and the Great Reset and all that bad stuff. And it seems like all this targeting was a part. Obviously, it's a part of this plan, but how they deal with this targeting is also part of the plan. It seemed like when we were kind of convincing people and this started to be a topic, the pandemic hit. And I'm not saying that's the only reason the pandemic hit, obviously, but then it seems as everything gets more bizarre, right? Normal people wearing masks, social distancing. You had the riots and the burning down of cities and everything. Now you got the election fraud and all this crazy stuff going on, which I agree. Well, I won't get into that, but then they're seeing how bizarre things are, and they're like, okay, well, we can talk about this now. We can release it in a certain way because everybody's already like so angry at what's happening to them, and they understand there's tyranny around the world. They understand the New World Order is coming in, right? And they can't do anything about it. So they could tell everybody about this, right? That's kind of my feeling on it. That's my feeling, That sounds great, Kism. True Kism says your names are on lists and all names will be That sounds great. I'm a little bit with Arachno Nixon. I think we can get this to stop. I don't know how many gifts are going to be bestowed upon us. When it stops, that's all I care about, Really is at this point. That's kind of sad, right? We should want justice. We should want people hung. We should want money and stuff like that. But I'm just like, I just want it to stop so I can get these microwave attackers off me, and then I can live my life, Hey, James. Yeah, maybe so. Maybe so, Kism. Yeah. CIA does. CIA is everywhere. Laura Ann says, I will never accept any amount of money. I'll take the money, but I'll still like talk about this and stuff like that. Like they can give me a settlement, not a settlement, but they can give me compensation, and I'll take that money to help my family. But if it comes with caveats of like you can't talk about this, no way. Mm-mm. Arachno Nixon says the government shall bejewel a plaque in my honor. Yes, yeah, Jennifer, definitely. Jennifer says we need medical attention from people who know about the damage these weapons cause. The closest that I've got is Dr. Hoffer, Dr. Michael Hoffer. And even he didn't know a whole lot about it, but he could tell me. So he can't recommend a medication. He can't really fix my brain, but he did recommend the noise canceling hearing aids or the Beats, the noise canceling Beats, head and stuff like that. Um, that's the closest I've got. Really, the closest doctor that I know is me. Best thing in the world. Like the things that I use for defense, that's our doctor. Like me, and look out for Charlie, and who Robert Stanson. People who talk about defenses, right, in our TIs. It's like the closest thing we've got to doctors who can treat this stuff. I don't know if they'd be able to put the white matter tracks back, that have been messed up. New Type says, I think the reason things around the world are heating up and getting more confusing is the evidence for EM effects on physiology, which validates the conversation of EM affecting the brain, right? Like all the biometrics and everything, right? Like all the biometrics they're using, it's like, oh, well, if that can read my heart rate and that can read my temperature, well, why couldn't they get a signal from my brain? Yeah, that's a good point. That's a really good point. Hey, Celine007. Celine007 says, hey, Kyle, thanks for covering the story. Let your light shine. I want a light. I want God to shine his light on me right now, in all of us. Because I need some energy. I need some good spiritual energy right from heaven, right from God. Please help me, God. Please help me, God. And my attackers have heated up my whole, like, all up here. Yeah, I like that. Arachno Nixon says, Rose, God sees it all, and our reward isn't of this world. Yeah. It's like everything that people think is a reward on this world. I like that truchism. Yeah, truchism, that's positive thinking. Let's think positively. I think some of us, like me, I've been beaten down for so long that I just want this to end somehow. And I'm not really I don't have high hopes for the people doing this to help us out and like give us a bunch of money and do what's right. I want to like pry them off of me and pry them off of y'all and just make it like in the horror movie. And I had this in my head when I was in that house that burnt down. I'd watch horror movies where at the end of the movie the person would like run out of the house and the house would explode and they'd be all like screwed up and dirty and have blood on them from the horror movie, and then they get to go home or whatever, after the horror movie. But it'll be like a 30-year horror movie. It'll be like a 30-year horror movie. Okay, let me read some more of this, guys. Okay, so the report was transferred. We read that. She issued the following statement. So this is from Senator Jeanne Shaheen. The health effects from these mysterious injuries have tormented those afflicted. Their illnesses and suffering are real and demand a response from Congress. Ooh, this is a great article. I didn't read it. We're reading this together. We're going through this together, guys. American public servants and their families who have been targeted. Thank you, Jeanne Shaheen. Thank you, Jeanne Shaheen. Did you guys heard? They're using the word targeted. So they're ill. Let me read it again. Man, I'm going to read all these articles and all the wording. This is the wording we want. This is the beginning of the wording we want. Like in all the beginning articles about the Cuban embassy attack and the China consulate, they're trying to use these words that throw people off and mystery and blah, blah, blah. This is going to go before Congress, guys. This is going to go before Congress. That may be why they're releasing it. because they're gonna have hearings and crap about what happened and how much information is gonna come out from that. Holy, could that happen? Could that? This is yes. Tanya says, "Wow, great day." Wow. Yes. This is yeah. Laura Ann says this is exciting. This is so. Listen to the wording they're using. American public servants and their families who have been targeted have requested that Congress receive and review this report. So I'm glad the State Department heeded our bipartisan call so that we can get to work. This is great. So we're going to be hearing a lot more about this. NBC, and it's weird. It's really weird. I know we all do this sometimes, but lately my attackers have been like crushing my head so bad, and I'm like, it seems like they're trying to kind of finish it. Yeah, I know I say that a lot, but it seems like they're kind of like, where is this going? If we could get free, if we could just get free, please, God, just free us, Christmas miracle. Hey HW. Type says they'll be forced to admit using EM we can directly manipulate the electromagnetic fields that make up our consciousness. Then they'll have to, it's been used on everyone without their consent. Yes, new type. It just feels like it's the dam has busted and this is happening. I don't know how fast it's going to happen. I don't know how it's going to roll out. I don't know, how it's going to help us, but it is. And at the end of it, our freedom. And as the world crumbles, as the world burns, we will be free. Right? Craig says, hi, Kyle and Tanya. How are you doing, Craig? How's everybody doing? This is good news, guys. Hang in there, and you use some defenses. We're gonna do some more stuff on that, and this is happening, and we're gonna put some more stuff out about it. Yeah, HW says they're crushing my head. Yeah, oh man. They hurt my head so bad on this side, and the next day it'll be like they're not doing it as bad, but my head like just feels like I can't bring up a thought at all. My head's just like blank because I've been hitting it so hard. Let Arachno Nixon just let people dream. It's good being positive like that, saying hey we'll all get compensated. It may be a little bit like it may, because not everybody in MK Ultra got compensated, but it never hurts to be very, very positive. We just don't want to, go too far and like then it's just like maybe the good aliens will come take us up and then kill all the bad people on the earth. I'd like that to happen, but it might not. Yeah, Laura Ann says it's happening with all our help. Thanks to all for their service. Yeah, thank you everybody. Thank you for every targeted individual for speaking out ever. Yeah, Jennifer. Jennifer says I can't even imagine laying down and closing my eyes without being tortured. It's been so long. Yeah, I can't imagine not hearing the V2K or not being in some kind of pain. Like even in the best of times, my targeting, there's always some kind of sharp pain and heat in the V2K. Yeah. No, Trukism, I don't think so. Some of them got compensated, and I think they were compensated maybe like $100,000 or something like that. I don't know if all of them did though. Maybe I gotta look that up. James, yes, we are all foretelling something here. Let's read the words. The words are important. The words that they use are very important. NBC News reported in 2018 that U.S. intelligence officials considered Russia a leading suspect in what some of them assessed to have been deliberate attacks on diplomats and CIA officers overseas. But there was not and is not now conclusive intelligence pointing in that direction. Multiple officials who have been briefed on the matter said, and I'm seeing a lot of finger pointing at Russia, so that may be where this is going. For Russia to point the finger at the United States attacking its citizens, and the United States pointing a finger at Russia for attacking its citizens. I'm kind of seeing that a little bit. Yes, Tanya, I completely agree. Tanya says we need to live a life without torture. And and we are forced to live a life with torture. With the only way that I know is with God, is holding tight to God and your faith. And also, well, I'm going to do a video on this, but everybody remember you have neurons in your stomach and your heart. Think about that. Think about that. You have neurons in your stomach and your heart. Those are focusing on neural networks in your brain to send pain to your nervous system, to do mind control and stuff like that. But you have neurons in your heart and your stomach, especially in the heart. When they do heart transplants, like a boxer could die and give his heart to a little boy, and the little boy grows up wanting to be a boxer, right? So just remember that. There's a lot that science doesn't know, and that's just a small leap. There are big leaps that science doesn't know too. About how you can, and this is specific, and I'm going to do a video on this, but specifically, can we do, and this, I don't know how we would get this started, but it seems like some of this happens when you're in faith and stuff like that, where you're creating this biorelevant feedback loop, a natural one that you create between the neurons in your heart and your brain. So your brain usually feeds everything like blood and everything, but can your neurons from your heart power the brain, right? If your brain is being attacked, God usually gives us redundant systems, the good guys, right? The good guys. He gives us redundant systems. One part of us being attacked, another part can kind of step in and maybe not take over, but can run support, right? So just be thinking about that, because I want to do that. But I want to get through some of this. Hey Nadia. Nadia says, Jennifer, I'm with you. I want a good night's sleep. Yeah. Yeah, Nadia says, hey chosen individuals. Yeah, that's a great name for us. Really? You were up that late? Wow. Yeah. I had to wake up early this morning. The committee, okay, a team of medical and scientific experts who studied the symptoms of as many as 40 State Department and other government employees concluded that nothing like them had previously been documented in medical literature, according to the National Academies of Sciences report. Many reported hearing a loud sound and feeling pressure in their heads, and then experienced dizziness, unsteady gait, and visual disturbances. Many suffered long-standing debilitating effects, and like we were saying earlier, probably a lot of them are still suffering from like ringing in the ears and headaches and pains in the body and stuff like that. The committee felt that many of the distinctive and acute signs, symptoms, and observations reported by government employees are consistent with the effects of directed pulsed radiofrequency energy, the report says. Studies published in the open literature more than a half a century ago and over the subsequent decades by Western and Soviet sources provide circumstantial support for this possible mechanism. A half a century ago. Studies published in the open literature more than half a century ago and over the subsequent decades by Western and Soviet sources provide circumstantial support for this possible mechanism. And then people have to ask the question, the common sense question, well, if Russia and the United States knew so much about microwaves and radio frequencies and their effects on the body, and then you got a whole group of people that's growing and growing in the world saying that they're being hit by such things, that it's probably true, you know. And it's not that far of a leap, because it's reality. And reality is very bizarre. While important questions remain, the mere consideration of such a scenario raises grave concerns about a world with disinhibited malevolent actors. It's full of disinhibited malevolent actors called our military industrial complexes of every country, and new tools for causing harm to others, as if the U.S. government does not have its hands full already with naturally occurring threats, says the report. Well, the United States should not torture its own citizens and create more problems, but it does, and it's called false flagging people. When it microwaves somebody, like the Navy Yard, Like, I'm not going to call him the Navy Yard shooter, but I forgot his name. I shouldn't call him the Navy Yard shooter. But somebody microwaves him and remote neural monitors him, remote neural manipulates him to where he goes and tries to attack the people that he thinks are attacking him. And I'd say that's causing a lot of problems. You know, that's all they do is just do false flags. That's all our country does. It's all a lot of countries do. It says the report edited by Dr. David Relman, a professor in medicine, microbiology, and immunology at Stanford, and Julie Pavlin, a physician who leads the National Academies of Sciences Global Health Division in Washington. I would watch this, guys, but if I play video from like NBC or CBS, the whole video gets taken down. So I'm going to put these links in the description, and you guys can watch some of these videos. In the last year, as first reported by GQ magazine and the New York Times, a number of new incidents have been reported by CIA officers in Europe and Asia, including one involving Mark Polymeropoulos, who, see, the only reason I knew how to say that is because we had a whole live stream on it, who retired last year after a long and decorated career as a case officer. He told NBC News he is still suffering the effects of what he believes was a brain injury he sustained on a trip to Moscow. A source directly familiar told NBC News the CIA, using mobile phone location data, had determined that some Russian intelligence agents who had worked on microwave weapons programs were present in the same cities at the same time that CIA officers suffered mysterious symptoms. I kind of think hackers, they are on a military base, but I think it's a military base in my city. I think that they can hit you somewhere else, but they're usually stationed in the same city. And like if you move, they may switch contractors to the place that you're where you're moving to, or they may move and be relocated to like another military base. I'm not sure though. That's speculation. CIA officials consider that not conclusive evidence. The State Department, responding to the report, said that each possible cause remains speculative and added that the investigation, now 3 years old, is still ongoing. Although it praised the National Academies of Sciences, the State Department, responding to the report, said that each possible cause remains speculative. The State Department. Because they would be trying to cover this up because it's considered national security. Them murdering us is considered national security because it's like a black project, right? It's a big, huge black project with everybody and their mom involved. Not my mom, of course. But, wow, the State Department really said that, huh? Yeah, you got the Department of Justice wrapped up in this, too. You know, you got the Department of Justice maybe, the sealed indictments. Me and you, Nick, were talking about how like they have 200,000 sealed indictments, and some of those may be us. Like it may just be made up crap. Like it has nothing to do with anything in a sealed indictment, so that they can torture us and collect data and map our brains and stuff like that. Jennifer said, wasn't he also attacked in the U.S.? Yeah, when he got back, he was also attacked. Yeah. Yeah, it's true. Truekism says it's not just about the weapons, but the psychological, the surveillance abuse, forced mental war, drugging, etc. You're right. And some of you guys who it's like y'all have experienced a lot of that, and that's like y'all's main trauma. Y'all gotta speak up, right? I gotta have some of y'all on. My big thing is just the mind control and the microwave attacks. That's the stuff that's like really deadly to me, so it's what I kind of just focus on. But you're exactly right, Truekism. You're exactly right. And I experienced that stuff too. Just over time, it's been so long that I'm like so numb to gang stalking. Like it's like it's such, like these people that do it are such a joke when it comes down to what's really happening and for how long it's been happening to me. I don't even worth acknowledging their presence, that they're like walking in front of me or have a one light car or somebody here that like walks out. It's stupid. They're stupid. They're idiots. They don't know what world they're living in. And it's like I can easily at this point, and I'm not dismissing it, but I'm just saying how I view it now and feel about it is just like they're such a joke. I'm not even going to acknowledge their presence because they're. It's just like I see I see a gang stalker and I see somebody who's about to get ripped a new one by the world and how it is, and I know how bad the world is. Idiot, right? So I don't feel sorry for them, but it makes them inconsequential. Was that really mean, y'all? Sometimes I can't. There is at some point where it says on U.S. soil. Another place I read said citizens on U.S. soil. Okay. It said they were hitting like citizens plural on U.S. soil. We gotta find that. We gotta find that. The words that they're using are really good. It's a good step forward. The words that they're using in these articles. Yeah, Tanya, that's right. Tanya says, Craig, they do sonic weapons too. Yeah, they layer all that crap. Yeah, that's true. Hey, Jimbo, how you doing, brother? Jimbo says, what's TMNT? Is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles? Truth. Look at brain character. Review microbials, autism, depression, anxiety. How microbes introduced in gut can change personality. It's true, because the stomach's connected to the brain, the heart's connected to the brain, and I think that there are methods that we can use to, and I don't know how to do this. Like I think that I've been doing it as an instinctual survival mechanism, feeding when my brain doesn't work. The neurons in my heart are like feeding things up into my head, and I don't. It maybe not. Maybe this is just me thinking it. I don't know how those things work, but I'm saying that there's a lot of things that we don't know about how our own biorelevant feedback loop works between our brain, our heart, and our stomach, right? Because like I had Crohn's when I was little, it affected my gut, and it also made me kind of depressed too. So it was affecting my brain. So the way that the gut can affect the brain can affect the gut, the brain can affect the heart can affect the brain, right? So if we get our hearts really strong, right, we do a lot of the supplements that can get our hearts super strong, maybe our brain, but if our heart's really strong, it's going to be feeding, it's going to have this biorelevant electromagnetic, right? Neurons in the heart pumps, it's creating like this electromagnetic field. What can that do for us? What can that do for us when we feel like our brain isn't there anymore? I'm interested in that kind of stuff. I'm interested in surviving this and being free of this torture. So, I can't believe the State Department said that. While the above limit the scope of the report, they do not lessen its value. The State Department said in an emailed statement, "We are pleased this report is now out and can add to the data and analysis that may help us come to an eventual conclusion as to what transpired." Well, the UN could tell you if Niels Melzer would mention all the testimonies he's gotten. Everybody in this live stream can tell you what's going on because we've called the FBI and everybody. I've called the DOJ, the FBI, talked to many doctors. I've tried to tell them what's happening, to citizens in America and citizens in the world. You guys have too, but they just don't want to. They just don't want to listen, right? Now it seems like, man, they're gonna have to listen. They have like a hearing in Congress about, and all those people come up and testify about what they're experiencing, and then we can get that's in mainstream news, and we can get that out to people, and then we've been saying the same exact thing for so many years. That could be great. This could be great. Nicholas says if you shine a high-power ultraviolet laser through a taser, you can shock somebody at 1,000+ feet. That's cool. Yeah, Nicholas, you you agree with me about gang stalkers? They're just like the how long I've been microwaved and the things that have been done to my brain and my body. I look at these gang stalkers sometimes and I'm just like, that's somebody that I don't even I don't know. It's just like I don't even get really angry. I kind of sidestep them. Just I sidestep the gang stalkers. Yeah, True Kism, you can put anything you want in chat. I mean, make sure it's not like yeah, you can put videos in there. And I'll go back through if you guys put links in and then maybe do a live stream on it later. But I'm just sticking to these articles about the scientists at the National Science Academy. What is it called? I already forgot. Hold on, let me remember where I am here. The the National Academies of Sciences. Does James G. Adorno belong to that? He might actually be a member of that too. National Academy of Sciences. The CIA did not immediately respond to a request for comment late Friday. Russia had any involvement in the incidents. The CIA did not, it's not going to respond to this. The CIA is like in all these contractors and like the DOD and the NSA. The CIA is like torturing all of America with these weapons. Yeah, it's not going to give you a comment. They don't want this going to Congress because they'll have to stop murdering families. They'll have to stop torturing people and getting their minions. Some of these gangs are actually people who think they're good people and making them do evil and stuff like that. Yeah, the CIA is so satanic. Look at who's the CIA. If you know, we would be in an alternate universe. That would be a huge thing. If JFK actually did dismantle the CIA, we'd be in an alternate dimension. Definitely. I don't know if we could have sidestepped the targeting program going like this, but it would have been different. There's also a lot of things about Donald Trump firing a bunch of people at the Pentagon, and I want to do a live stream about them. So, you know, I'm seeing stuff with Donald Trump. He ain't in the club. Like he's got one foot in the club, but it's like people, the outsiders. This is what, and I watch Ryan Dawson a lot. And he said like it's pretty much the outsiders versus the established elite. There's like outsiders fighting them, but the outsiders and the established elite are both Zionists, right? Both sides are Zionists, so they have similarities. Things that why Trump got elected and was allowed to be president, but big differences on their outlook on globalization, right? And that's where I really want Trump in office because he is going to fight globalism. He is. Like, he's going to do some stupid things like the vaccine, 5G, and stuff like that. We're going to get some evil from anybody who's president, but he's going to be pushing back on globalism a lot more than Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. And President Kamala Harris if Joe Biden gets elected. So we'll be calling Kamala Harris president if he gets elected. Which would be, I mean, you know, I have to look on the bright side of everything, and I don't want them to get elected, Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, but it would be nice, and I know she's not just black, but it would be nice to have a black woman president, so you know, we get that done. You know, so more black women president, more women president can be president. I just repeated president a bunch of times, and I hope that makes sense. I know it doesn't. Hey, Matthew. How are you doing, brother? Yeah, Matthew says it's not even funny, but for real, we're staying alive. Yes, we're just surviving. I find that, like, you know, you guys got to use the defenses. Like, we're gonna do some more videos on that. But if you like live in faith, you live in the spirit, every day you try and find things that are positive and focus on those instead of everything that's happening to you, relieving the pain with some of the defenses to do that. And you can like survive and then have happy moments. You can have happy moments, and then sometimes your attackers will get through and it'll be hell. But then maybe the next day you'll have a, good. You're using your defenses and supplements and everything good, and you have a good day. It's a lot better if you can do those things, especially living in the spirit and seeing things through spiritual eyes instead of worldly eyes. Because if you see things through worldly eyes, like and I do sometimes, right? It's just impossible. It's impossible, But through heaven's eyes, this is destined. It's happening. People have been persecuted throughout history. Jesus said it was going to happen to us, and we don't know how it's going to end. So we've got to, even though we're being tortured, it seems like our life has been stolen. Our life has been changed, and we've got to rise above things that we didn't think that we could be, and we can only do that through spiritual eyes and connected to God. It's the only way. And I don't even say like you have to be a dogmatic Christian or anything like that. Just reach out to God. Just reach out to what we don't understand. Craig says, I believe the CIA is trying to have my family write my death certificate. Oh man, I'm sure there's a lot of shenanigans going on, and the CIA does do this. The CIA is like, they put people into these contractors to do it. Yeah, Nicholas, we got this. Nadia says, so the diplomats were accused of having psychological problems because they were in a stressful environment, as if psych problems are contagious and spread like a virus. Right? Yeah, it's the mass hysteria. It's the mass hysteria. And there have been some theories about targeted individuals or people surviving electronic torture, right? It's like, well, because it's a new technological age and it just technology is getting so much better exponentially, mental illness has changed, and people think that they're being surveilled because there's certain things that maybe small agencies do to surveil criminals. So normal people, when they have mental illness now, it's all really different. It's all really different because of the technology that's out there. And it's just, it doesn't make any sense because this happened to me. I'm sure it happened to a lot of you guys and men and women too. A lot of you men and women, excuse me, but you didn't know about directed energy weapons before you started getting attacked. Like, I didn't know anything about directed energy weapons before I started getting the high-pitched sound in my ears and the V2K and everything like that. And as a matter of fact, I admit this a lot, and I don't like to, but it took me like a year and a half to even connect this with the program of targeted individuals, right? I thought it was a personal vendetta where this ex-Marine had electronic warfare equipment, which this electronic warfare equipment, but I thought that he had like brought it home, like he was an ex-Marine and like he brought it home with him and he just had it around, and then this was just me they were doing it to, right? So I thought that for a long, long time. Hey, thank you, Trukism. Thank you so much, man. I get so much, man. You guys help me so much. Anybody that says I help you, you help me by coming to these live streams. And we've all just got to, if somebody helps you, you just help somebody else, man. We just keep doing that. We make the world as good as we can in this, like, Mordor that we're in. Hey, K-Love. K-Love says, just something to help us to stay strong. Yeah. I got this new Mountain Dew to help me. Just something like this. Like, maybe one day we just need to do a fun live stream where we go through like every little thing that you can do all the time to make yourself, treat yourself. I got these Nutty Buddies, in my freezer. I was like, I'm gonna get some Nutty Buddies. I love Nutty Buddies. Just treat yourself, like that. It does take the defenses too. If you're just being pummeled with the targeting without any kind of attenuation at all, or do anything. It's Frostbite, and has a little shark on it. I was thinking about watching that movie Deep Blue Sea, where they experiment on the shark's brains and make them really smart and stuff like that. I don't know why I mentioned that, guys. I'm kind of random. Okay, this is exciting, though. Let's keep reading. The National Defense Authorization Act released this week included language from Shaheen that will expand long-term emergency care benefits for affected U.S. government employees and their dependents. That's a good precedent. That's a good precedent because these the embassy workers, they're going to get long-term emergency care benefits to take care of what has happened to them. We deserve, at the very least, that free medical care the rest of our friggin' lives, at least from this, and much more. And this says much more. Much more must be done to uncover incidents and ensure that no other public servant suffers in this way or any other innocent citizen around the world, says Shaheen. She doesn't know what she just stepped in, though. You see, she doesn't know. She thinks it's an isolated incident, and she probably doesn't know about all the citizens around being targeted with this stuff. And so she's like, we gotta change all this stuff. But I mean, okay, this is me thinking negatively, and this is just speculation. When's somebody going to contact her and say you better settle down on this, or you got some kids and your husband, you like to see him keep breathing, you might want to just shut your mouth about that. That's a negative thought. Hopefully not. Hopefully, she's going to be okay and go through with this. I hate our mafia world. I'm always seeing like, oh, some brave person that's really is doing something big. When's the intelligence agency gonna like walk up to him, or when are they gonna start hitting them with microwaves in the head? I shouldn't say that kind of stuff. Definitely shouldn't say that kind of stuff. Okay, suffers in this way, says Shaheen, whose statement points out that patients and public reports have indicated that these injuries are the result of a nefarious attack. Yes. The study examined, right now, look, I'm sitting, every time I do live streams, but like right now, there's a stream of energy like hitting right here to make me burp. It's better than them hitting me in the cloud. They were hitting me here, and then they were remote. Oh God, it was so horrifying. The study examined 4 possibilities to explain the symptoms: infection, chemicals, psychological factors, and microwave energy. And it's microwave energy. We've said that from the beginning. That's what the now I can't remember, but the scientists, the Academy of Sciences said it's not psychological factors. Overall, directed pulsed RF energy appears to be the in explaining these cases among those that the committee considered. The committee cannot rule out other possible mechanisms and considers it likely that a multiplicity of factors explains some cases and the differences between others. No. Wrong. The report says more investigation is required. Electromagnetic energy, including frequencies such as radio and microwave, have been considered a leading possibility since the earliest days of the mystery. Yeah, and like the first video I did on this, I was looking back to 2017, and I did a 2-part video on it, and I said, yeah, this is pulse microwaves. This is going to affect us a lot, targeted individuals, because this is what's happening to us. And why did it take scientists, and still, the State Department trying to flip-flop on it and hide it, because the State Department probably knows that we're being tortured. I bet you the Department of Justice and the State Department know that citizens are being tortured and murdered. Early on, investigators also considered the possibility that sound waves, toxins, or other mechanisms could have been involved, although no evidence is known to have emerged to support those theories. Over the years, the FBI, CIA, U.S. military, State Department's Diplomatic Security Service, National Institutes of Health and Centers for Disease Control and Prevention have investigated the incidents. None has come forward with any conclusions, and the State Department has quietly ceased using the word attacks to describe what happened. And then Secretary of State Rex Tillerson and other top officials as then Secretary of State Rex Tillerson and other top officials did in the early days after the incidents first came to light publicly in 2017. So this is the lady that got hit in China. Her and her mom. Like her mom came to China because she was sick and her dogs were getting sick. And then her mom came to see her, and her mom also started getting the same type of heat and headaches and ringing in the ears. So she evacuated after health attacks in Cuba and China. Diplomats face new ordeals in the U.S., and they're probably still being attacked. Starting in late 2016, U.S. diplomats and others stationed in Havana began hearing strange sounds and experiencing bizarre physical sensations and then fell ill. The incidents caused hearing, balance, and cognitive injury, also known as concussion. And that's why Dr. Hoffer was the first person to like do testing on them. And I've been to see Dr. Hoffer, and many other targeted individuals have been to see Dr. Hoffer. Dr. Hoffer said get these. So when I say get the noise canceling hearing aids that work very well, a doctor who first saw the Cuban embassy workers and he knows American citizens are being tortured. Like he knows it. And so he's the only doctor who's like, I guess John Hall offers suggestions. Dr. Robert Duncan U-metal, chemical shielding. Robert Duncan says chemical shielding, which he's right about. But Dr. Hoffer says the noise canceling hearing. So when I say that, that's coming from Dr. Hoffer. Nadia says they described they were hearing buzzing, ringing, static direction, and I wonder if they purposely didn't say they heard words or speech. Yeah, that's true, because if they would have said that, then they knew that they would be labeled crazy. It seems like with the hitting the embassy work, because some targeted individuals don't get V2K, but it seems like if they did that to the embassy workers, they probably wouldn't use V2K because they would maybe have like an accent or something. I know they could modify it with the programs, but if they said anything on V2K, that would be more evidence of like who did it, right? So I do suspect that probably the embassy workers were not getting V2K. Maybe though, I don't know. But like you say directional, and it's like my V2K is directional. My V2K sounds like it's like this. Like it's coming to my ear this way. But it's really like they're microwaving my head, and it's sending a signal down to both ears, but somehow my nervous system is perceiving it like that. And they can switch it over to where it sounds like the V2K is coming from this direction. So it's like if you're getting a ringing sound and it sounds like it's just coming from one direction, like sometimes you can feel like a heat, like a directed energy stream of energy, but sometimes it's like they'll make the high pitched sound like it's just coming, like it's hitting me on this side of the head, and the right side's not ringing much, but it's usually that they're stimulating the brain in a certain way so that your ears perceiving a direction. And I don't know how they do that, but I'm very sure that's what it is. I'm very, very sure. Hey DePlume. Hey Christina Marie. Yeah. Christina Marie said, yeah, it would discredit them. And V2K, it's probably Cuban intelligence that was doing it. And it just seems like they would have Cuban, they would have Hispanic accents, or Spanish accents. Is that how you say that? Spanish accents? True Kism, you are the wind beneath my wings. Kism says Kyle is the eagle's wings. We're all caw. We're going, man. This is like stuff's coming out, man. The UN thing that we all thought was just like a nothing burger. I think it was the start of a deluge. Like it was a start of a deluge, and I think that I'm kind of thinking this now. Another speculation. I'm sorry. We'll get on with the article. I like speculating though. Is that maybe Niels gave a warning to these countries and said you better get it out there and you better stop it because we're doing a 2 to 4 year plan. So whatever you need to do, right? Maybe there was some kind of agreement going on there. It's total speculation, complete speculation. I just see this going in a good direction for us. More defenses for more non-targeted individual people helping us, for congressional hearings on embassy workers experiencing the same things. This is good. This is a good thing. Hey, Zeth Zeta Rex. You say you have black goo implanted on the base of your skull. I don't have that. I've heard some stuff about black goo. I know I got toxins and stuff. New Type says, thank you, Vulcan, and the rest for putting out the information despite being persecuted by a global cabal using diabolical weapons on you no one believes exist. True warriors, I am so humbled by you. Namaste. Namaste, New Type. Thank you for what you do, too. Thank you all for what you do, especially if you have channels and stuff, but even if you don't, and you're just getting through this, thank you. We're going to do this, guys. I feel some good. And hey, Arella. People say that they hear it in the middle of their head, right? And I've heard it in the middle of my head before, like they've purposely done that. But very short periods of time. Most of the time, it's coming from the left. Most of the time, it's always coming from the left. But then when I go to sleep, it's also coming from the left. It sounds like it's coming from over here when I'm turned this way. Right now, as I'm turned this way, it sounds like it's coming from this direction. But then I turn this way, and it sounds like it's coming from this direction. So that's weird. Oh, and like the type of pain. I'm not going to mention that. I'll mention that on another live stream. But I'm implant in my nasal cavity or somewhere over here. Because if I don't, then that's scary. It's scary what they can do with remote neural manipulation. I know they can do really, really bad stuff with remote neural manipulation, but what they're doing, like I do this. Well, I've shown you guys, right? Like pain where it's like all these muscles, and my eye was like burning, and then I took this neodymium magnet. One second. I just want to show y'all where I put it. Like I took these four 25-pound pulls, so it's a 100-pound pull right here. And you can get these on applied magnets, and I went like this. I like stuck it against my second to last tooth, and then I felt like a kind of a beat, like the muscle started. It was kind of like not a pulsing, but like a beat, and then the pain stopped, and then the pain stopped. So I'm like, okay, well, how is that? How's this me putting this here if it's remote neural manipulation stopping the pain? So I'm really gonna be checking that doctor out in Texas in a ENT. I'm going for that, man. I'm going for getting the X-ray to see, just to once and for all, do I have an implant or not, right? And that's gonna be coming up soon. Okay, so where was I, guys? Okay, we read this. More than 24 U.S. workers who served in Cuba and a smaller number of Canadians were confirmed to have been affected, in addition to one U.S. government worker in China who was judged in 2018 to have experienced similar symptoms. That's wrong. It was a bunch of people in China. But some of them were told that they would lose their jobs if they didn't stay quiet about it. And it was a bunch of people. I did a 60-minute thing, and it showed many people who were hit in China. And so that's wrong. It's not just one U.S. government worker in China. For some of the affected employees, those symptoms have resolved and the individuals have eventually been able to return to relatively normal lives. For others, the effects have lingered. So I think we're all suspecting that they're still targeted and posed an ongoing and significant obstacle to their work and well-being, yeah. According to NBC News interviews with U.S. officials who were assessed by the government to have been affected. Wow. This is coming out, guys. This is coming out. Like, I don't know, like, I mean, you know, with what's happened with the election, the fraud and stuff like that, and how they write a news article lying about it, and then everybody just kind of ignores it. I'm like, is this all going to come out and they're just going to say, oh, it was no, that's a negative thought. This is all coming out. This is all coming out. Are included in this. We are targeted individuals. I'm just like, are they just going to ignore the whole? They're just going to say, oh yeah, all these embassy workers and agents were being hit with microwaves, and then just still call us mentally ill. There's no way. There's no way they can do that, right? The world's not that crazy yet, is it? Has the world gone that crazy yet? Can somebody tell me? Thank you, Tanya. Tanya says Kyle is our angel man to the TIs around the world, and you're my angel woman, Tanya, from Australia. I don't know how you get through the things that you do. Y'all are all my angels. Thank you for coming to my live streams and leaving good comments. I just don't see how a non-targeted individual could come to one of my live streams and see you guys talking about this stuff and see the evidence that we're putting out and then leave a comment like, you ain't being hit by dew weapons. Like, you know what I commented? I don't know if it's still there. It was somebody called Ex Machina or something like that. And I said, did I say this at the beginning? I think I said this at the beginning, but I'll tell you guys who just got. So they commented, you ain't being hit by dew weapons, and I said, you can just not believe in this until it becomes common knowledge. I don't care. God bless. Like, I'm so tired of it. Like, it's not even. It's like you're a sad person that's trying to either lie about this or you don't know about it. People are being tortured and murdered. So get to the side. You move to the side, you know. Orella Woman once says, I saw a UFO once. I figured it was some sort of secret government tech. I don't know. I may have seen one. I think they're UFOs. Like the Pentagon has declared that they're real. You know, they put out footage, so it's like common knowledge that UFOs exist. Yeah, thanks, Nicholas. Nicholas says, yes, Kyle, the world was well beyond crazy decades ago. The world has always been crazy, hasn't it? Like humankind has always done horrible things, and horrible things have happened. And then we were just kids in America, right? So everything seemed awesome and like it was going to be Star Trek, but the world was always pretty bad. We were sheltered. I was sheltered, I guess. I was pretty sheltered. Yeah, this is really good. There's some other, it's bad news, but I'm going to do another live stream, a huge story about microwaves, another one, and it's completely different than this. Yeah, yeah. Who's a shill? Who's a shill, guys? Nah. Hey, politically persecuted. Politically persecuted says it was a bunch of people in China, their pets and family and friends who visit. Yeah, it wasn't just one worker. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Cuba has adamantly and consistently denied. We know all this stuff. Let's see. Mass hysteria. Let's see what Mike Pompeo, Secretary of State Mike Pompeo, asked in October about the investigation, indicated there was still no firm conclusion, although he bristled at the allegations that have been raised by many of the affected diplomats that the State Department took insufficient steps to protect them and ensure adequate care after they were injured. The State Department was more worried about covering it up in the public in the way that they didn't want it to get out than taking care of all the people who work for the government, because nobody matters in our system anymore. This isn't a republic where the people matter and the government works for them. I mean, we're in a type of technocratic socialism, like where capitalism still exists, but people exist to be fed to the state. And the State Department was too worried about covering its own ass because it has dealings with the State Department and the DOJ. I would kind of assume that a lot of them know that those citizens are also being microwaved and they're also being experimented on. When you have Obama putting out the Brain Initiative in 2000, was it 2013 or 2011? Okay. So Fascinate says, hey Kyle, they do not use EMF waves, they use scalar waves to attack TIs. Apparently nothing can block this wave. Well, they use electromagnetic frequencies, but then they also use some things like scalar waves and photonic energy, optogenetics, right? I use defenses that can't really block, that go straight to the brain, but they use layers of EMF on the vestibular system, can attenuate, but then there's some things that are a little bit outside of like scalar waves and photonic energy that Brian too talks about that do go straight to the brain that you're decreasing because you're decreasing the whole you're decreasing the layers, so you're wrong. They do use scalar waves, but they also use electromagnetic for, you know, you know. Um, hey Jeff, what's up, man? One says they think this tech is their holy grail. Yeah, they'll do anything. They're like, oh, it's so novel. You can see through people's eyes, see what they're thinking and stuff. Oh, we'll just murder a bunch of families. I mean, there's other stuff too. Fascinating. Like look up optogenetics, because they use invisible light, which is on the electromagnetic spectrum. And then I don't know a lot about scalar waves. I tried to find information about it, but there's no like info online that says this is what a scalar wave is, this is what a scalar wave does, this is what scientists have like recorded a scalar wave doing, because it's like theoretical. Like it exists, and it may exist more in top secret circles, and people say that stuff has scalar waves in it, right? But it's still speaking of it in scientific papers as if it's theoretical. So it's hard to find out much about it. But yeah, they're using some new stuff. But they're not only using the very, very new stuff that maybe I can't block, they're also using electromagnetic frequencies in layers and also conducting along your skin to your vestibular system, doing cranial stimulation and everything like that. And those things, heating up the brain too. Yeah, Mo Muss, I agree. Mo Muss says, see where the perps effed up at is they rely on their demonic technology where we rely on God. And look, and Mo Muss said something important because, and this is true, this is also from Star Wars too, evil is powerful, has a quick power to it, right? And good, it takes a little while. It takes a little while because good's usually not trying to get into a fight. But you see, coming up in response to all this stuff, the New World Order, the targeting and everything, good is building up a sleeping dragon. A sleeping good dragon with angel wings on it is waking up. An angel, a big angel dragon with mystical white fire is waking up, you know. So we've done we've done a lot of work to try and identify how this all took place. And seriously, guys, like if Trump can get reelected, I mean, boy, everything. I mean, he might be able to push back a lot of the things that the CIA is doing. A lot of this thing could be uncovered. I mean, like really big things could happen to throw a huge wrench into what the New World Order wants to do, to destroy America, and then the rest of the world, and have it all under this New World Order. I'm seeing some things happening where I'm like, man, there's still hope. There's still hope. Um, but I don't know. I still have doubts. I don't have doubts about this coming out, about our targeting coming out, and this changing. But I have doubts about, saving the world from the New World Order. Um, God will have to do it. I give it up to God. I need to make a video every month just saying I give this all up to God. I'm still going to keep doing the videos. Almost did this, guys. I almost made a video saying I decided to quit. Right? I was gonna do a video with the title. I decided to, I'd all watch it, and I'd be like, now that I got your attention, I'm quitting. I'm quitting trying to control everything, and I'm giving this up to God. And now you got to listen to me talk about my faith. And I know y'all wouldn't have had to been tricked, but it would have been fun. K-Love says, Kyle, how do you like it? I like it. I really like it. It feels like it's blocking stuff out. It's hot right here, so they're trying to hit me in the back of the head. It's hot on the outside of it. It works good. I like putting it under the hat. I don't like how it looks without a hat, though. It looks too, I just don't like that, the beanie look. I may wear it without the hat sometimes. Joshua Egan says it's a mix of EMF and the non-evasive tech, your waking mind and sleeping mind colliding to see images. It's layers of stuff. Say a big part of it, and I'll read the MIT article where they trickle this out to MIT, but they create electromagnetic fields around the head using heterodyning, and then they'll use a stream of ultrasound, scalar waves, something like that, within the electromagnetic field going straight to your brain to create either thermal or mechanical changes to neural networks, right? And neurally amplify things. And they're trickling that out to medical processes, right? IT is doing experiments where they're taking transceivers, right? And then they're creating an electromagnetic field around someone's head, and then they're streaming the infrasound into the brain to make mechanical changes neurologically. And they're like, oh, this is all good. It's for the good of the brain. But what they're doing to us with this, with the military industrial complex and all these contractors, security industries, right, are doing to us is they're trying to destroy the brain and change the brain in bad ways, create pain in the body. And I think, I don't know, me and Charles talk about this, but I think that any thermal change to the brain is a mechanical change, basically. I think they're using thermal changes to make changes to our brains. Now, in the MIT thing, it was saying mechanical changes without heat because it's infrasound. But with us, they're using microwave. It has heat, so it's thermal changes to clumps of neurons in our brain, to our brain, basically, which does damage to it. Just does damage to it. Hey, thank you, Momus. I love you too, man. Momus says, love you, Kyle. God bless. God bless you too, man. God bless all of you guys. Tanya says, God, look after me yesterday, today, and always. Please, God, look after us. Please let this stuff be big. Please let this stuff. Please let people look at this stuff. Okay, so we've done a lot of work to try and identify how this all took place, Pompeo said. We continue to try and determine precisely the causation of this while doing our best to make sure we're taking care of the health and safety of these people. Aren't they taking care of us? We're citizens too. The report recommends that the State Department establish a response mechanism for similar events that allows new cases to be studied more quickly and effectively. The report recommends that the State Department establish a response mechanism for similar incidents that allows new cases to be studied more quickly and effectively. If they do that, if the State Department does actually take this recommendation and establish some kind of response mechanism, or has like a number you can call, or like something like that, like we may be able to actually like just, you know, just call the State Department and at least try. Big changes could happen with this. The NAS report details many of the challenges of their study. Different data points collected by the several referral centers the department utilized, data collected from individuals tailored to their individual signs and symptoms, markedly different points in time for the affected individuals, limited access because of potential security concerns or ongoing active investigations, and most importantly, limited access to personalized data, and working instead with collective or while the above limit the scope of the report, they do not lessen its value. This is very valuable. This is very valuable. Okay, let's check another one out, guys. See if it's. Let's check out the BBC Canada and see if they said anything different. Maybe if they had some different wording here. Joshua Egan says, before I was spewed into the womb, nanotech, they've been messing with that for at least 100 years. Like, started to really be serious in like the 1990s or so. And now it's like really complex as you got nanoparticulates and smart dust and things like that. I think before, because this is where, okay, this is the CIA did Project Moonstruck in 1952, and that was putting implants like rice and then shooting those implants, sending signals to those implants with microwaves. And that was 1952. That's like the first recorded thing that they did out in the open, right? And then that was before MK Ultra. So they destroyed a lot of files for MK Ultra, but it's almost like just a factual. It's just it happened that in MK Ultra they were used on people, like close up, and maybe they were like putting crap into people's brains, and then when they leave, right, they do this in mental institutions, and that person would leave, they would have something in their, like inside their brain, like an implant in their brain that they would send V2K to. But it's gotten a lot more complex to where they don't have to like put anything in you. They don't have to put an implant or anything in you because they're just reading your unique brainwave frequency. No way. Is that true, Momus? Shut up. That's not true. Loom says, I sent you a link to a lawsuit in Texas about a lady being implanted against her will when going in for a beauty procedure. It's ongoing now, so hopefully that will be precedent. Yeah, there's a lot of Richard Kane, and then Lee was talking about another case, and I can't remember the guy's name, but he like literally brought the implant into court, but then they threw his case out because it was like something to do with national security, and I think it was in Canada. HW says, God bless all targeted individuals. Thank you, HW. Yes, please bless us, God. Please give us the New Year's miracles. No more news? I thought no more news wasn't on YouTube anymore. Maybe he has a no more news too. Yeah, politically persecuted Bristol, UK says EMF satellites, cell towers, 5G, and EMF connected human neurological brain implants and connected AI can also be used as weapons of torture. Yeah, yeah. Yes. God bless you too, Craig. I want to read this BBC article and see if they used any kind of different wording on it. Yeah, Arella 111 says sometimes it feels like they can control my hands to a certain extent. They've done that a little bit to me in the past, but I've talked to targeted individuals where it's like they feel like they can control their motor functions a lot, like their arms and their legs and stuff. To me, they like when I was like half asleep, they would make me hit myself with a pillow, but it's like when I'm awake, it doesn't seem like they're able to do that too. They can maybe do an EEG, like an impulse to my brain where I get up and go to the kitchen, but it's not necessarily like they're not controlling my motor function, right? I don't think it's part of my protocol that they do that, because we all have like different protocols. Zest Zeta Rex says they know who you are before you come here and target you. You think before you're even born on this world? I don't know about that. I think that there's algorithms and stuff to see like how we're gonna do in life. Like I literally think that Captain America, which one was it? The Captain America Winter Soldier, where it's talking about Hydra using an algorithm to look for people that were going to be trouble for Hydra in the future and targeting them, right? I think that was a little bit of an inside a reveal of, so they could be okay karmically or whatever, so the top of the pyramid could be okay karmically. But I think that they do have an algorithm. They take our SAT scores and stuff like that. I don't know about from birth whether they'd know if you'd be trouble for the evil system. But I do think, like, when you're a little kid, you do testing and stuff like that, and there's any information about you in the system, I think there's algorithms to see if you're going to be trouble in the future. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. That gets into speculation, and we got to stay with the concrete. Now, we can speculate some, though. We got to speculate some. Mo Musk, see, I thought, no more news? Is he back on? I thought he was just on BitChute. I thought he had a website. I got to check him out. Maybe he's back on. New Type says, has anyone ever used the Telegram application? It could be used to create networks for targeted individuals to coordinate locally and globally or on specific topics by creating different channels. Okay. Telegram application. Well, I guess we should start looking into that. Just start talking about it, New Type. Just start talking about it and be like, hey, you want to get on this Telegram application or whatever. I've got to try some of that stuff that Nadia says, New Type, we need something like that. Yeah. Okay, yeah, bro, so sorry, it's We Are Change. Yeah, We Are Change. Yeah, I'll watch We Are Change. He hits on some good stuff. Yeah, so Laura says she's going to check that out. Yeah, tell people about it on the calls, Laura. Or maybe New Type, you could go on a conference call and tell people about it. Well, we're telling people about it now. Let me put it up on the screen. Oh, that's a long thing. Let me type it in here. Telegram app. Look into it. Look into it. I'm gonna put my own thing up there. No, that's a good idea. Okay, so New Type says, I've just created a page to start us off. Okay. And what do you do? Somebody else had an app. I saw a YouTube video, and he said that he created an app where people could just join it or something like that. But what does it do? You're just on there? Like, you're just on there or something like that? Because I think, like, PAX tries to do stuff like that. They try and get, everybody, signed up to stuff. But a lot of targeted individuals don't like that. They don't want to be on any kind of list. I don't know. Yeah, try it. But you need to explain to me, like, what we would do with it. Like, we could just give people information. Like, if somebody's hurt, they can use that Telegraph app to, like, say, look, I'm at this place and I'm hurting or something like that. Just trying to think what we could do with it. I gotta kind of check it out. That sounds good. That sounds really good. We need to look into a bunch of stuff where we can connect like that. It's going to be made to look like the problem still, even when they do try to say they are coming out with all this stuff. They're still going to say we're mentally ill. Up until it comes out, and we're not mentally ill anymore, and they say, oh, I guess those targeted individuals were telling the truth. Because that's what always happens, isn't it? Right? When everybody's like, oh, that's a conspiracy theory. That's a conspiracy theory. And then when it happens, everybody goes, oh, I guess the conspiracy theorists were right. And that's us. We're not conspiracy theorists. We're actually targeted by microwave weapons. And, like, our brains are really hurt from this stuff. Our nervous system, on the side of my head. Okay, new type says link is private but can't send invite on YouTube. Can you do it on an iPhone? Well, just just check it out and tell people about it. I don't know what we do with. I guess we're linked in, like so people can message each other if something bad happens or if any news comes out or something like that. Kind of like an app, like a Discord app or something like that. You can talk on it or something like that. I don't know. Sounds good. Okay, let me go to this BBC article, guys. So many people are doing so much stuff. Port microwave, Havana. There we go. Okay, this one. Havana syndrome. You see, they're saying Havana syndrome. They're all together calling it Havana syndrome because they want people just thinking, it's Cuba, small place Cuba, and it's not anywhere else. Havana syndrome likely caused by directed microwaves. Man, they are using that directed pulsed microwaves. Directed. Yes, that's right. Yes, it's directed. Mystery illness suffered by U.S. diplomats in Cuba was most likely caused by directed microwave radiation, that U.S. government report has found. The report by the National Academies of Sciences does not attribute blame for the directed energy waves. Whoa! This is great wording. Oh my God, these articles are fabulous. Look at this. The report by the National Academies of Science does not attribute blame. Like, okay, they mean I thought they meant does not attribute blame to directed energy waves. It just says does not attribute blame for the directed energy waves. But it said research into the effects of pulsed radio frequency energy was carried out by the Soviet Union more than 50 years ago. The illnesses first affected people at the U.S. Embassy in Havana in 2016 to 2017. Staff and some of their relatives complained of symptoms ranging from dizziness, loss of balance, hearing loss, anxiety, and something they described as cognitive fog. It became known as Havana syndrome. It better not stay that way. It better not keep calling this Havana syndrome because it's worldwide and it's citizens everywhere experiencing it. It better not. It's targeting, or I don't know. It has to be all encompassing, and it has to tell that we're in pain from it, and it's microwaves. Maybe integrated directed energy weapon torture. It's tortured by integrated neuroweapon systems or tortured by directed energy weapon systems. The U.S. accused Cuba of carrying out sonic attacks, which it strongly denied, and the incident led to increased tension between the two nations. A 2019 U.S. academic study found brain abnormalities in the diplomats who had fallen ill, but Cuba dismissed the report. Canada also cut its similar symptoms. The latest study was carried out by a team of medical and scientific experts who examined the symptoms of about 40 government employees. Many have effects, the report said. The committee felt that, is this kind of the same exact stuff? Yeah, this is the same exact wording that the other article said. In 2018, the U.S. removed several officials from China after employees working in the southern city of Guangzhou reported subtle and vague but abnormal sensations of sound and pressure. One U.S. official was diagnosed with trauma. I need to go get another DTI. I had been tortured for so long. When I got my first DTI in 2018, my neurologist that I went to didn't even do the DTI, and he didn't write the report. Some neurologist that I didn't even know wrote the report and said, like, everything looks okay. It was really fishy. Like, it was really like I got screwed over, and they just covered it up. I'm not even sure if they just may have even switched out the thing on me. But I have it. I have my 2018 DTI, and if I get a new one, I'm going to go to a new neurologist, and then I'm going to compare the two. So the BBC News one was kind of just saying the same thing. This is big, though. The report by the National Academies of Sciences does not attribute blame for the directed energy waves. And the other article said directed microwave pulses. So they're saying directed energy, which is and it's hitting people, right? So they're saying directed energy that's hitting people, directed energy weapons that are hitting people. So now when contractors say, oh, we're manufacturing these great integrated directed energy weapon systems, people can't just say, oh, well, they just use those things on boats, or they just hit drones or missiles with them. No. They hit people, and it's been proven that they hit people because of the Cuban embassy attacks, the agent in Moscow, and the agents in Australia that went to Thailand or Taiwan, and then the China consulate, right? And then there was another incident too. I can't remember it though. There's so many. Yeah, Nadia. Nadia says, does everyone have excessive air in the body? Anyone know why or any ideas that help? It seems like they hit me in certain places, like an external beam will go to like my diaphragm and they'll try and make me burp or something like that. So like if they're hitting you with a stream of energy in your stomach or something, it's going to cause excessive air. It's going to cause gas bubbles and stuff like that. And I think they can even do it through remote neural manipulation. I'm not sure. Maybe somebody else in chat, if that happens. That happens to me a lot, though. That happens to me a lot. Yes, yeah. Like here. Like I feel like air is trapped here, and it's really uncomfortable sometimes. And my attackers don't do it all the time, but they can sometimes make it feel like it's like bad gas times 100, to where I have to lay down and I can't concentrate on anything because it feels like, and they've done something, and it feels external when they do it to me, like they're hitting me in the stomach a certain way, and it's causing like gas times 100 to build up, and then I have to like wait for everything to pass through. This stuff's so embarrassing, how they hit us. Like, I mean, but they're hitting every part of our body, so. Yeah, Tanya, thank you. Everybody like and share. Please thumbs up. This is important. I'm going to go through, I've got 2 more articles. Let's hang out and go through these. This is very important. So we'll go through this stuff and we'll just see. It's very important to see every word that they're saying. Really, Tanya says, Kyle, I had a test done. They will not give me the test on paper. Okay, so New Type says, I am a group to meet locally and discuss about our rights and doing what we can to end the lockdown in NWO. One of the no mass shopping events set up through on the news. Okay, that's a great idea. And maybe if we can use Telegram, so we can use Telegram, and then like everybody in Baton Rouge will be on Telegram. We can know where people are, and then maybe we can do some protests from that, right? Is that kind of your idea? Like we can meet up, people in our area can meet up. Let's do it. Because I think PAX has tried it and other organizations have tried it, but let's just and we'll do it through my channel. We'll let people know, and I'll sign up for it because I trust you. I don't trust much, but I trust New Type. I trust a lot of you guys. I just don't, I don't know. Like sometimes I'm a little bit hesitant to sign up on everything PAX stuff, and I'm not saying anything bad. I'm just like, I kind of want to just do my own thing. I still need, I guess I don't want to admit this. I've just been forgetting, but I need to sign up with Targeted Justice. But I was kind of holding out because I wasn't sure if I was going to do my court case, and I need to sign up for that. Craig says, explains the stomach aches I have been lately, plus they poison my water in the sink. Yeah, they can hit you in like a pressure point in your stomach, or like in your small intestines or large intestines or colon, and they can create a lot of gas and pain. Yeah. Nadia says it can feel like heartburn or you need to burp. Also, I feel like there is more to that. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, they can do it through remote neural manipulation, but this is the complication, Nadia. The things that my attackers do to me, like they'll usually hit me in the clavicle, so this muscle hurts in my jaw, but then they're doing remote neural manipulation, stimulation of the vagus nerve. So my attackers usually combine remote neural manipulation with some kind of external hit, and then it confuses the issue, right? Like, so if they're making my stomach hurt, they're going to shoot an external beam to it, but then they're also going to be working on my stomach with remote neural manipulation. So my attackers, like everything they're doing, they're always, if they're doing something with remote neural manipulation, they're always trying to shoot an external beam at that same spot so that it's those two things mixed. So, and that gets really complicated. But yeah, they've definitely done that to my stomach. Politically persecuted Bristol, UK says, yep, typically your body wants to reject pulse microwave EMF waves. This manifests in gas, needing the toilet, and feeling sick. These are the body's natural functions to reject poisons and toxins. Yeah, it can be, I guess it can be a combination of that too, but what I was experiencing was directly, it was like my attackers literally directly affecting my stomach, and I had a stream of heat going to it, right? But I'm not sure that's it. Like they could have been doing some remote neural manipulation too. Hey, Avalon Mist. Avalon Mist says constant profound fatigue and extreme pain and swelling on my left temple and jaw. Yeah, me too, Avalon. And it seems like a lot of mine is the vagus nerve runs down your left side, and it runs through your jaw. Like the vagus nerve runs through your jaw joint all the way down to the bottom of your foot. So people with a lot of pain on your left side and stuff. Hey Terry, it could be vagus nerve stimulation. I know they do vagus nerve stimulation. I'm just wondering because I've got a bunch of stuff over here that's like I put a magnet over here and it stops. So I'm gonna get checked out for an implant. Okay, let's go to this one. Let's go to the New York Times. It's kind of a long article. Dude, you got NBC and the BBC and the New York Times, reporting this. So it's on it just makes me think, this is what it makes me think, but this is speculation. I don't know exactly what's going on with Niels Melzer, but it makes me think that, somehow he's at work on this and he let every country know that he's going to be looking into this. And he said, I'm not going to announce it at the general session, but I got these testimonies and stuff, and y'all better bring this stuff out, and it better come to an end. And then, I don't know. Maybe that didn't happen, but that's it. I'm just thinking that. Yeah, politically persecuted Bristol, UK says, yeah, they can target specific areas of the body and brain with pinpoint accuracy. That's why you really want to, and I know some of you guys might be like, well, this isn't going to make a difference because they can surveil me remotely, right? But you want to cover up any cameras that you got on your tablet, your phone, your computer, any cameras that you have like open. You want to cover those, because what they'll do is if I have my phone camera uncovered, they're doing remote surveillance like radio, right? They're doing remote neural monitoring so they can see what I'm seeing, but if my camera phone isn't covered, if my phone camera isn't covered, they're using that what they're getting, the imaging they're getting from the camera, right, and the radar surveillance, the remote surveillance, and then they can hit you, pinpoint it, they can hit you in a more detailed place easier. If they have a real camera on you combined with your remote surveillance. Because I've had my cameras like uncovered sometimes, and they can usually hit me like in a very, very specific place in my jaw a lot. So you just want to make sure all your cameras are covered. It's not going to stop the targeting, but it won't give them as much data, certain like visual data to work with. Hey, Sleeping Beauty. Hey, Gang Stalking Simulation.
Gang stalking simulation says they hit me all day. Yeah, they hit me all day. They're hitting me right now. I didn't really want to do this live stream. I was like, man, I'm too tired. I'm gonna put it off, but I gotta start putting out some good information. We gotta get this done. We gotta flood this stuff out. Terry, yeah, I did. I saw it. I'll respond to you. Definitely this week. Definitely this week. Yeah, Gang Stalking Simulation says 24/7. You gotta shield yourself. I agree. Yeah, Craig says I have great aunts and uncles who passed away recently who served in Pearl Harbor and World War II. I'm sorry, Craig. I'm hoping my grandma doesn't go soon. Like my grandpa, her husband he was a naval engineer in World War II, and he went to the like the Japanese islands, and then he told me about this once, but the other soldiers would go first, and they'd have flamethrowers because there'd be like trees, waiting to kill them and stuff like that, and so they would go in with flamethrowers and like clear a path, and then a naval engineer, so he'd go in, and him and some other they'd build the barracks, right? They'd build the barracks, and then the other soldiers would like go ahead with guns and stuff like that. I'm sure he may have done more that he didn't even tell me about. Okay, Sleeping Beauty says William Binney admits in his recent interview with Dr. Catherine Horton that he's a victim of abuse. I knew it. I knew it. I knew it because he's in a wheelchair. I knew it. And I knew it. I knew it because like he's a really smart guy, and he's he's like gets on mainstream news media shows and stuff. So he didn't talk about him being attacked, right? But now he is, because now it's just all coming out, and everybody's just gonna be like, yeah, I'm being hit with news. I knew it. Oh, he's such a good man. He's such a good man, and he actually created a program where they could catch criminals with surveillance and leave regular citizens alone. And so they said, oh, wow, he's smart, and he wanted to actually make a good program, and he's going to talk about our evil program that we made to just catch everybody in one big net and then microwave them to death. So then they just started microwaving him and his family. I got to watch that interview. It was good, Sleeping Beauty? I'm sure it was good. Everybody, check out Dr. Horton's interview with Bill Binney. I'm about to watch that. I knew he was, man. And he handles it so well. He handles it very well. And they've probably done, oh God, they've probably done horrible things. God. I knew it. Like I could just look in his eyes. I looked in his, and I said, and I know I say that all the time, right? Like I'm like, oh, this person's target, but no, there's some that it's just like I look at him. He was talking with Kirk Wiebe, and I just knew it. I knew he was targeted. Yeah, Tanya says, "Wow, awakened. They will be full on now. It's Christmas, Christmas time, gang stalking. But maybe we'll have some Christmas miracles. You know." Maybe this year, maybe this 2020, maybe 2020 was the year of just like awfulness, and then 2021, I don't know. I think the New World Order is going to keep coming, but I think for the New World Order to keep coming the way it wants, and to use biometrics that it wants, and to do things, and to push forward with this technology in the way that it wants, our situation has to change. It has to change for this to happen. It's a to just be like, oh, that's great, because a lot of bad stuff's going to happen for our situation to change, and that's just that's the situation I think we find ourselves in. But my main thing, like I say all the time, priority number one is that the torture stops for us, so we can deal with all the other crap everybody else has to deal with in the world, and get this off our backs. New Type says, I will start setting up an infrastructure and method for all TIs to coordinate. It requires a phone number, but it remains hidden if you want. I suggest using an app to create a new proxy number to use. Okay. I'll join it, man. I'll join it. we'll talk about it more. We'll talk about it more on my channel. I think it's a good idea, and I kind of want to find more people in my area. I've hung out with some targeted individuals in my city, but they weren't going through the same exact thing as I was. We talked and hung out, but then they kind of their thing. They kind of wanted they didn't really want to stay in the community. They're like, I just kind of want to go back to my life because I just got V2K and it's not really hurt me a lot. Um, so I haven't talked to one of the guys in a while. It wasn't like a ton of pain for him. Yeah, Gloria Aquino says they like to target and torture intelligent people. Yeah, because they're mapping the brain out while they're traumatizing us. So they want who's got creative thought or a lot of good like um, memory stuff. My brain, my brain. I used to be smart. I used to have a photographic memory when I was little. I didn't like. I totally took that for granted, and now I can't remember anything. And my visual cortex is what they mess with the most because like I used to be able to watch a movie or play a video game and then I could play those images back like in my head like perfectly. And so that was one of the things I loved about myself, and I didn't realize it was like a special thing, but I guess they did, and maybe it's not, maybe everybody just does that, but it's like so that they suppress my visual cortex, so it's like I'll try and bring up stuff, but it's like hazy. It's not as clear as it used to be. It's really weird what they do to your brain, and you got to just get used to how weird your brain. Sleeping Beauty says yes, it was a good interview. They mostly covered the election fraud, but yes, they talk about dues, and he admits that he's a victim of them. Man, I just knew it. That sucks. Like it sucks that he is, but I knew that. I mean, why? They're dumb to target somebody like him, because he's gonna figure out a way. Like him, I bet you him and Kirk Wiebe are still working on something. Yeah, just Aaron says somebody's got chips in his legs that shoot pain. Trying to get them removed, but he couldn't find anyone either. I think we got those two people. We got the person in Texas. If you go to the Targeted Justice website, there's a doctor in Texas and a doctor in Atlanta, and I'm gonna go to the one in Texas. I'm getting that done. It's just gonna take me a couple of seconds. It's gonna take me a little while. Yeah, Laura Ann says how you bring awareness matters. Bill knows that. Yeah, and we do. It's like, he probably didn't come out and say that he was targeted for a while because he's trying to tell people about these really big issues, and he needs to do it that way. It's a for him getting information out. Now maybe he's a little bit comfortable doing it on Dr. Horton's uh, uh, channel. But like for me, it's just like, oh, I'm not that, I'm not that big or anything. I just have a YouTube channel. I'm just going to talk about it. So we need people doing that, and then we need people like Ella kind of will not like go into her targeting all the time because she wants to get media attention and do it a certain way. So we need that kind of strategy, and then people who will just talk about it all. We have to talk about it all in certain ways, and I know that some TIs are like, don't talk about the mind control, don't talk about all the what they do specifically with remote neural manipulation, and I get that. Like if this channel was about just the public, not non-TIs understanding that this was happening, yeah, we would talk about it in more simple terms probably. But what's more important to me is that we understand this to be able to defend ourselves and come up with like mental processes to hold it back, to weaken it and stuff like that. Then the second priority is like letting non-TIs know about it, right? But you guys come first, like us, looking at this in a detailed way so we can figure out like, okay, how do we defend it? How do we protect ourselves and stuff like that? Even if those details would maybe make a non-TI be like, oh, that sounds a little bit too crazy. Maybe I could believe that you're being hit with an external microwave or something. So y'all got to understand that about my channel. But we need a lot of people doing a lot of different angles. Really? Sleeping Beauty says William Binney also said that the swine flu was a fraud to experiment with vaccinations in that same interview. I believe him. I believe him after seeing the pandemic. I believe him. Mm-hmm. Gloria Quino says the VMAT2 code that's in the vaccine will destroy our spiritual center where God breathes spirit into us. And God also gave us, like in our genes is the desire to worship God. Is that so there's something organic, and the pineal gland too. He also gave us the pineal gland to pick up on certain frequencies that are above our science, right? To reach towards the what we don't know about. He also gave us the pineal gland. They're poisoning that with electromagnetic frequencies, fluoride, and other things. So pineal gland cleanse is very important. God wants you to do that. God wants you to do it. He's told me he wants me to clean my pineal gland. And he said to always walk Pepper twice a day. Um, he spoke it to my heart. Don't worry, it wasn't in words. The only words that I hear are my attackers. The woman on B2K just goes, "Yep, he's making fun of everything." Yeah, I sure am. Oh no, Waking World says UK begins tomorrow the CV vaccination. Oh, just Aaron says Telegram isn't that safe. People can infiltrate and pretend. I'm in a group with Telegram and the guy's trying to teach people how to detect frequencies. So it's a thing where perps can come in there. I mean, everything is though. I mean, this video, this chat is a place where perpetrators would come in. But if you let's take this for example. We have a pretty good, make good videos and live streams, have pretty good chats, because there's tons of real TIs that are logical in there. So if we're going to do Telegram, we need to make sure that we're getting a bunch of like really smart, strong, good TIs, really looking into this stuff, filling it up. So if perps do come in, it'll be like a little percentage, and they'll just be drowned out by real information. You see, we're at that point where we outnumber these cyber and all those people. Like maybe when I first started making videos, it was like they kind of outnumbered us or whatever, and targeted individuals didn't want to speak out. But now targeted individuals get more brave and courageous. We have more information, and we're filling up the chat rooms. And then you maybe have like one or two of them where they'll say something crazy, but it's just drowned out by all this real information. So we need to take that tactic. I'm seeing that tactic works. So we just fill things up with logical, good information. If they say something crazy, it's just kind of like, people can ignore it. I'm back. Sleep Beauty says people in general are having a hard time believing that the NSA director is mentally ill. Or no, people in general are going to have a hard time believing that the NSA director is mentally ill. I think the director of a lot of these agencies, they're really like CIA. And I mean, I don't want to go. I really believe that. Like, I can't prove it, but I think the CIA puts people in the heads of all these agencies so that the CIA really controls like a lot of them. I think the CIA has gone completely crazy, like the Pentagon too. The NSA is contracting out tons of this, and the NSA does it directly too. That's who my dude, Sleeping Beauty. That's who my attackers say they are. I've asked them, are you FBI? Are you this? Are you that? And the only one that they said, yep, we're NSA. When I said, are you NSA? And they said, yep, we're NSA. And it's never like they've never expounded on it because their mind just they do short little phrases to each other, and then they'll say short phrases to me. They never go into conversation or anything like that because that would be treating me like a human being, and they don't want to do that. So that's the only one that they've said yeah, but that could mean might not work directly for the NSA. Maybe they do.
but rather, a contractor or security industry like under the NSA. Yeah, yeah, I saw that Sleeping Beauty. I showed that. I showed that on a live stream. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Superhero says, Holy Spirit, heal and shield us, chosen, and kill all of our enemies. Okay, I'm with that. I'm with that. I mean, if our enemies like these microwave people, yeah. I mean, if buses could hit them, that'd be great. Nadia says, only God can cover me and give me grace, knowledge, and wisdom in the areas needed. I've had to become an electrician, neurologist, nutritionist, scientist, engineer, and I am not those things. Well, now you are. Now you are. Yeah, I know what you mean. You have to learn about everything. But that's what I'm saying. I'm saying I'm giving up a lot of things to God, like how this is going to go and everything. I see it going in a good direction for us individuals, but I'm going to give a lot of things up to God so that my brain's not so filled up, and then I can be smart about the things that are right in front of me that I have to deal with, right? And I think we all have to do that. I think that's cool. We've all had to become like so many things, wearing a lot of different, metaphorically and literally wearing a lot of different hats right now. Y'all know that saying? Where you wear a lot of different hats because you're doing a lot of different jobs. Yeah, yeah. See, yeah. Sleeping Beauty says, "I believe you're right on that. Right on that, Kyle. I believe that the CIA has gone insane and puts their people where they want them." Yeah. Hmm. Yeah. Lauren Ann says, "I am still practicing talking to non-TIs about targeting. Thanks, Kyle. You were good company this afternoon. Great articles. Well, thanks for coming, Laura." Yeah, I had a psychiatrist appointment today because I've got to keep, getting my Neurontin and my Ativan, and I talked to her about it, um, and she just, she's a new psychiatrist. She's a good person, and she says the same thing as the other psychiatrist. She says, I can help you with the depression and anxiety, but I can't fix that situation. And she kind of like wants to get my medication and do her little and like kind of and she's a good person. She wants to do good, but she wants to kind of get me out of there because the way that I talk, she knows that it's happening, and she's looked into it, and she can't. They're not equipped, right? Like maybe a psychiatrist with a practice for a long time could maybe write me a piece of paper that I could maybe bring to court, but like new psychiatrist, she's not going to be able to do any. She's not going to be able to stop this program. She can help me with some medications that like are good chemical shielding. I think sometimes we have to understand that we need to look for the right people that can do something about this because the system hasn't just hidden this; it's also made sure that there are people within the system that are powerless or unequipped. That families are unequipped to deal with this. I talked to my dad today too, and I think that my aunt, my mom, the family's completely unequipped, so everything that happens is always just like, oh, well, it was this other thing that happened, right? And so it's like it's time for people to start getting equipped, but some people it's just like they're not going to be able to help us. And she does. She helps me. I mean, she helps me with certain medications and stuff like that. Um, but I was talking about it, and I was like, man, it really gets to me. There's so many women, targeted individuals, and they're getting electronically raped, and I was like, I'm getting electronically raped, and she like sighed, like, and it was a sigh of like not like this is crazy, but like, oh my god, I wish I could do something about this. It was very weird. It was really weird. I may be putting too much on that sigh. Yeah, she knows. I told her about the UN stuff and everything like that. Somebody was saying show her the news and everything. I don't know if I'd want to do that to her. She's like a learning psychiatrist. She's got to just follow a bunch of guidelines, and she wants her own practice. She's a good person, and she can't do anything about this. She can't write me anything for court because she'd have to go to like the head guy of this learning psychiatry center, right?
So I think it's better if I just go in and get my medicine and say I'm doing okay and just doing activism, you know. Hey, nobody. Nobody says hello, Tanya. Dennis K says, I think radio frequency, but I believe the psychic driving is psychotronic, like subtle hypnotism. Might be able, not sure. Well, I have V2K and it's microwaves. It's like microwave hearing, but they do hypnotism to me too. Okay, nobody says they could be lying and not from the NSA. Their whole operation against us is a psyop, and psyop means disinfo and misdirection, psychological torture, among other things. Yeah, yeah, but it's like you're right, nobody. But being like when you have V2K for so long, and you do like I do have human operators. Like there's automated stuff, but there's human operators. You kind of get to know their habits. Like they'll lie a lot, and you know that they're just lying about everything. But then they'll always like if I ask them something, they'll say everything every time. Anything, they'll just say, "Oh, it's this. Oh, it's this. Oh, it's this." How many of you are there? They'll be like 68, 70, 73. They always do that. So when I asked them like who they worked with, it was different. They just said one, you know. And you got to understand that these people they sometimes want to play little games where like well we'll let them know like they sent me something on my phone with Arcadis like the actual contract an actual contractor. I'm not sure if it is the contractor that's hitting me, but they like to play games where they're like we'll go ahead and tell him who we work for and he can't do anything about it. So I've learned that about my attackers. This guy or these guys that are my human operators, they love going well we'll just go ahead. He can't do crap about it because things on the V2K is like, what are you going to do about it? You can't prove it. That's one of the biggest things they say to me a lot. And so like I know the guy's personality and he loves it if he tells me the truth and I still can't figure it out, you know. But you may be right. It could be psyops. I mean, we just got to get concrete evidence, you know. Just get concrete evidence and you know, get recording evidence of the frequencies, and then I'm gonna, you know, if I, it belongs to Oshner. If I have an implant in my nasal cavity, it has to belong to Oshner, and then from there, you know, I'm gonna find out who it's tied to somehow. Yeah, yeah. Sleep Beauty says, nobody. You're absolutely right. They could be, but the NSA does have this technology, and they know exactly what's going on. The fact they do nothing makes them evil to the core. Yeah, and I'm just telling you, like I'm just telling you guys what they said. The only one they admitted to, you know. Like, oh man, I'm gonna get in so much trouble for this live stream because we're getting out really good information. They're gonna kill me tonight. Just Aaron says, it is your neighbors hitting you with V2K. That's why they have people move in and out. It's proven on my channel you can record the V2K. Mine got kind of lazy, so they let me know. Yeah, it's not your neighbors, just Aaron. They want you to think it's your neighbors. It could be your neighbors in your situation. I don't know every situation. I know that for years and years, I thought it was my neighbors, and it wasn't. Because I moved a bunch of times, and it stayed the same. Right, so I like was able to experiment with moving a bunch of different times and it's like and them trying to make me think it's the neighbors each time but still having the same voices of the first neighbors that I was by, right? And then changing and modifying those voices after I knew that it wasn't my neighbors. Really? Sleeping Beauty says they told me too that they were NSA CSS. Maybe all the targeted individuals with like remote neural monitoring and remote neural manipulation and stuff are contracted by the NSA. I mean, like the people doing that remote neural monitoring or remote neural manipulation, maybe they're all contractors under the NSA. I don't know. I don't think. I mean, I don't think so. I don't think so. I think there's a lot of like Air Force and stuff like that would be doing remote neural monitoring or remote neural manipulation. but probably a lot of the contractors are under the NSA. Sleeping Beauty says, I've heard others say that there's a bad part, and I question if they are referring to the CSS. What is the CSS? What's CSS stand for? Sleeping Beauty, what's CSS? I gotta look that up. I don't even know CSS. Probably is that, because you're smart. Okay, New York Times report points to microwave attack as likely source of mystery illnesses that hit diplomats and spies. So I just want to see if they use any kind of different wording. I went over those other articles. A government commission report provides the most definitive explanation yet for Havana syndrome. All of them. This is the mainstream media. This is like firsthand proof, and we see it all the time. But this is proof that the mainstream media is like an arm of the military industrial complex. So they keep calling it Havana syndrome. It's like propaganda so that people think of it in a certain way. Which struck scores of American employees, first in Cuba and then in China, Russia, and other countries. Washington, the most probable cause of a series of mysterious afflictions that sickened American spies and diplomats abroad in the past several years, was radio frequency energy, a type of radiation that includes microwaves. The National Academies of Sciences, Engineering, and Medicine has concluded in a report. In the past was radio frequency energy, a type of radio. Okay. The conclusion by a committee of 19 experts in medicine and other fields cited directed pulsed radio frequency energy as the most plausible mechanism. Directed pulsed radio frequency energy as the most plausible mechanism to explain the illness, which came to be known as Havana syndrome, though they said that they could not rule out other possible causes and that secondary factors may have contributed to symptoms, according to a copy of the report obtained by the New York Times. The report, which was commissioned by the State Department, provides the most definitive explanation yet of the illness that struck scores of government employees, first at the U.S. Embassy in Havana in 2016. Okay, same stuff from the other articles. CIA officers visiting overseas stations also experienced similar symptoms. The Times and GQ magazines reported officers were traveling to discuss countering Russia covert operations with foreign intelligence agencies, a fact that adds to suspicions that Moscow is behind the episodes. Dude, who knows? Like, that guy, he might not even be getting hit, and he's just coming out and pretending to be hit by this stuff so they can present it in a certain way. I guess he's probably hit. I don't know. There's just so many lies. There's so many lies. Through couched in careful scientific language, the new report reveals strong evidence that the incidents were the result of a malicious attack. It attributes the illnesses to directed and pulsed rather than continuous energy, implying that the victim's exposure was targeted and not the result of a more common source of microwave energy, such as, for example, a cell phone. It attributed those to directed impulse rather than continuous energy, implying that victim's exposure was targeted and not the result of more common sources of microwave energy, such as a cell phone. It also said the committee found the immediate symptoms that patients reported, including strange sensations of pain, pressure, and sound. Okay, so we've already heard this. Let's read this. Including strange sensations of pain, pressure, and sound that often appeared to emanate from a particular direction or occurred in a specific spot in the room, were more consistent with a directed attack of radio frequency energy. The committee considered other causes like chemical exposures and infectious diseases, but said they appeared unlikely. It's like psychological and social factors, those have been ruled out by me. So we're not going to read about those. Several of the victims have accused Secretary of State Mike Pompeo and other Trump administration officials of downplaying the issue in an attempt to avoid disrupting international ties. They now ask how President-elect Joseph R. Biden Jr. and his nominee for Secretary of State Anthony J. Blinken will respond, especially given the new scientific findings. Boy, and if there's like trouble in the transition, the ball could get dropped on trying to hide all this stuff, and like Congress could go ahead with some kind of hearing. Like, I mean, all the chaos and stuff could be like, it's bad for our country, but like, I'm just thinking all the chaos of the transition and the court cases and maybe Joe Biden not getting inaugurated and stuff, it could cause like it could cause things that, like the intelligence agencies to maybe drop the ball on some things, and then this could like really come out. After lawmakers pressured the State Department for months to release the report, the agency gave it some congressional officials and others on Thursday and Friday, asking them not to share it. The Times and NBC News separately obtained the report on Friday, and NBC earlier reported the findings. The National Academies publicly released the report Saturday evening. We are pleased this report is now out and can add to the data and analysis that may help us come to an eventual conclusion as to what transpired, the State Department said in a statement on Saturday. For the Trump administration, acknowledging that the incidents were the result of a foreign attack could have necessitated evacuating American missions in China, disrupting an important economic relationship. The administration did take a harder approach in Cuba, which aligned with its larger goal of reversing President Barack Obama's diplomatic opening with Havana. Nah, I mean they're really trying to bash Trump in this article too. You know, he hasn't done anything about our torture, so, you know. The question of Moscow's possible culpability is a thorny one, given the sensitivities around President Trump on any matters involving Russia or President Vladimir Putin. Moscow has denied any role, and Gina Haspel, the CIA director, she's pure evil, Gina Haspel, the CIA director has not concluded the Kremlin was responsible. But some CIA analysts who are Russian experts, diplomats, and scientists contend that evidence points to Moscow, which has a long history of experimenting with the technology. Yeah, so that's for the for that agent. Okay, I'm gonna put these articles in the description, guys. Mark Lindsay, a diplomatic security officer who was afflicted with the symptoms while working in Guangzhou, China in early 2018, said that the administration's treatment of its employees, including its efforts to deny and cover up inconvenient scientific and medical facts, had left him angrier at his own government than the government that injured him. My government looked the other way when they knew I and my family were injured, he said. This report is just the beginning, and when the American people know the full extent of this administration's cover-up of the radio frequency attacks in China in particular, will be outraged. Go ahead, Mark Lindsay. Yeah, and when they know about like family members being shot by microwaves right in front of them, they're going to be really, really angry also. Because like all targeted individuals are just murdered in front of people, you know. Because we're shot with microwaves all the time. Mr. Lindsay has sued the State Department for disability discrimination. The Office of Special Counsel has been pursuing 2 investigations into the State Department's conduct. The State Department's just trying to cover it up. Wow, that's bad. That's really bad. I always try to kind of say, well, maybe the Department of Justice and the State Department don't know that we're being microwaved. Maybe they know about the DHS Fusion Center harassment. They do. They know. They know. Some family members of the affected U.S. government employees also fell ill overseas, including Mr. Lindsay's wife, and at least 14 Canadian citizens in Havana said that they had experienced similar symptoms.
The report, listen to this, the report by the National Academies also contains a stark warning possibility of future episodes and the U.S. government's ability to detect them or to mount a response, or the U.S. government's ability to stop attacking its own citizens with it. You know, what an incredibly ridiculous thing I just read, where it's like, well, the U.S. has to learn how to mount a response to these attacks. The U.S. government is torturing and experimenting on its own citizens with this junk. That's a crazy sentence to read. The fact that American government employees reported afflictions not only in Cuba and China, but also in Russia and other countries, raises questions about how widespread the incidents may be. The committee was not in a position to assess specific scenarios involving malevolent actors. Dr. David Relman, a Stanford University professor who led the committee, wrote in a preface to the report. Yet he said the mere consideration of such a scenario raises concerns about a world with disinhibited malevolent actors and new tools for causing harm to others. Okay, we read that earlier. But yeah, that's what's happening. And it's the leadership, well, it's the military industrial complex, the most powerful thing in each country that's doing this to citizens and doing it to doing it to everybody. The report recommends that the State Department act now to establish plans and protocols so it can immediately begin an investigation if similar incidents occur. They are occurring everywhere. This is like opening this stuff wide open. All these people, all these embassy workers and agents who have experienced this are going to be running the circuit trying to get on mainstream media, and that's going to open a door for us. It has to open. I'm a human being. You guys are human beings. Okay, the guy was a CIA agent. He gets hit by remote microwaves, and there's like news stories on him. We've been crying for help for years, for so many years. We're human beings too. I keep spitting today. What's up with that? I keep spitting my spit. Sleeping Beauty says, I question if all of this election fraud stuff would be going on if Trump had cleaned out the intelligence agencies like he was told to do. Well, now, like Sleeping Beauty, now he's kind of doing it a little bit, you know? He's like actually firing some people from the Pentagon. I want to kind of do a live stream on that. I don't know much about it, but that could change things. The leadership could change, like within the Pentagon, and I don't know. I mean, it's like I don't feel like they can kill Trump out in the open. And I feel like he's got enough military people around him that if they do try and mess with his brain, he's got something that he can protect himself from psychotronic attacks. Because if he didn't, like if Trump didn't have something to, and this is speculation, right? But if Trump didn't have something to cover psychotronic attacks, like they would just give him like an aneurysm or a heart attack or something like that. If he didn't have anything to protect him from remote neural manipulation. And 2 says, hey, Brian says, all organizations that are secret or cultish in nature are viewed by the government as suspicious and are closely watched and infiltrated. And certainly given the power and influence that comes with the gathering together of so many rich and famous people, those organizations could pose a potential threat to the government, per Dr. Robert Duncan. Of course, if you were really a member of the global elite, you know the world is ruled by a powerful, secretive few. Yeah. Yeah. Sleeping Beauty said there's too much proof that this is going on to ignore. Most definitely. Yeah, that's good proof. Dr. Robert Duncan is really good proof. Sleeping Beauty says Dr. Robert Duncan is a scientist that confirmed that tortured with these technologies years ago. Dr. Robert Duncan is proof that this is going on. Yeah, Gloria Aquino says, oh yeah, those drones too. Yeah. Gloria Aquino said, did you know anyone can purchase directed energy weapons to use to torture others? Yeah, on what's the site, guys? What's the site you can buy it from? In their handheld weapons. But the thing that you got to deal with, though, the thing that you got to like know about this stuff is like somebody can buy a handheld weapon, right? But if they're next door to you, they have to have
the software to run it. Like you can have a handheld weapon, I think, and some of them can like um, shoot an initial directed energy stream that surveils, and then the next one can hit it. I guess that would be in the weapon. I guess there are ground weapons that can image through walls, you know. But with mine, it's like being hit from up here and stuff. It's like a remote thing, and they have to have the software to run the actual like surveillance stuff. So having the software, but I guess there are ground weapons that can image and then shoot too. I think I read about some of those because when I thought my neighbor was hitting me with one of them, like I was reading all the patents of the ground weapons and stuff. Dennis says, out there, the people with good morals should control it. Yeah. Well, just the technology just needs to come out to the public because, like, technology is taken by the military-industrial complex and they use it to try and, like, hurt people or control people. This is a big one, though. This technology is unprecedented at the scale that they're doing it, but throughout history, any new technology, the military-industrial complex takes it, or the people kind of keeping the secrets in society, and then it eventually comes out to the public, and it's less dangerous because the public has good knowledge of it, right? But now we're in a time where the New World Order is coming in, all this stuff is happening. They're trying to turn everybody, they're trying to, bring in this transhumanism, so I'm not sure where everything's going. But I know that things are going to change with this technology, and it's not going to be able to be hidden and just used on us to torture for, like, very much longer, unless they just kill us all off. I don't even want to say stuff like that because I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think that's going to happen. Hey, TI Strategy Guide, how you doing, bro? Yeah, we were just reading these articles on the scientists all agreeing that the Cuban embassy attacks were created by directed microwave pulsed energy. Saying directed microwave pulse energy. That's huge, guys. How long have we been going on this live stream? The top of my head's getting really. I'm gonna get really punished for doing this. We've been going 3 hours. It's been 3 hours, really. Let's see. I got one more article that I'm gonna put all these in the description. It's been 3 hours. What? How does time go by like that? So this is from NBC2, and it was just we did a live stream on this where it's this what's his name? CIA officer suffered crippling symptoms in Moscow. Was it Havana syndrome? Brian, can I ask you a question? What do you think about, in every article about this, they keep calling it Havana syndrome in quotation marks? Why do you think they're doing that, Brian? I just wanted to ask you why, like in every article, it's Havana syndrome in quotation marks. And I thought that was really weird. It seemed very propagandy, propagandish. So Sleeping Beauty says, by law they can't classify crimes being committed. They must declassify, and we have to push on that with government representatives. Yeah. By law they can't classify crimes being committed. Yeah. Exactly. This is coming out. This is gonna torture us like this anymore. Because it's just gonna look. All these people are going to Congress. Like all these people, like all these agents and stuff that are getting hit, and they're being treated at Walter Reed. Like people are being treated at Walter Reed for remote microwave attacks, and people are still gonna put comments on my videos going, "You ain't being hit with dudes. You're just a regular person." Who do you think they practice on? Who do you think they're mapping people's brains? Regular people, so that they can do it to agents and stuff like that. And I am special also. So Brian says, I was in Havana, Cuba in a hotel hit with directed energy by America's shadow government contractors months before the embassy personnel were hit. Oh, wow. Brian 2 says, do you actually think the CIA would allow an agent, a high-ranking official in the CIA, to start running his mouth publicly about this technology? Period. No, it's done to shape and control the scope and scale of the narrative. It's called misdirection. Yeah, I agree with you. I agree with you, Brian. I mentioned that earlier in the live stream. I said, maybe this guy's just put out there to talk about this in a certain way because they're talking the Russian agents that did it to him being in the same place as him, right? Following him around. So they're framing it as these people following him around everywhere when it's really remote, and it can go very, like, over the horizon radar can go very, very long distances. I kind of agree. But Brian, they're controlling the narrative, but they're bringing it out. And it's what I've been thinking for a while. That the people doing it to us at a certain time, we're going to get enough traction and be pushing enough, and so many people are getting hit that they're going to have to, reveal it to everybody. And they're going to, as long as we stop getting tortured, I don't care. That's just my thought right now. Maybe I'll think something better, Eternity Eternal says, it feels like if the attacks continue, the news articles will start to cover more detailed responses. New terminology will start to follow. Yeah. They're using the term targeted. They're saying target it with microwaves a lot, and that's exactly what's happening to us. There's a lot, but Brian, there's a lot of really, really good, logical, awesome TIs in this chat. I think we just way outnumber anybody who might be a cyber-placed agent, because we've just built it up where people come in and put down good information, and it's like any kind of thing that's like a perp thing gets lost in the good information. And we can outnumber them at this time, I believe. Dennis says, in corporations, telemedicine practice, that's why they torture us to record biomedical data. Yeah. A lot of money coming in telemedicine. Yeah, Tanya says, yes, Gloria, trouble is coming from all around the world, need to wake up fast. Yeah, people need to wake up fast. So Brian says, abuse of children has been a key component in the creation of mind-controlled slaves. Missing children, sexual abuse of children, and pedophilia around the world all point to the involvement of an organized network of high-level criminals who covertly operate outside the control of a legal system. Former FBI special agent and private investigator Ted Gunderson agrees. Yeah, I agree too. We live in a mafia world, where the higher up you go, the more psychotic they are and the more crime they do. And then you go down lower, and there's some good people down lower, but they don't have a lot of power, Did I read that? Gloria? Gloria says, I don't think they need to kill us off. I think the vaccine will have nanotech that works with 5G or other frequencies to control the emotions and cause people to attack each other by remote control. Yeah. I think that, they're scaling it up for everybody else who's not targeted like us right now. And I think me and Nicholas were talking about it. I think he said something like, maybe they'll decrease the intensity, but maybe keep us hooked in. I wouldn't want that at all, but it would be better than the intense scale that it's at. So I mean, that's just, I don't know if that's what's going to happen, but something's going to change with this. I know it. But it's going to change, Brian. Brian says it won't stop because it's all about the continued refinement of existing technologies, the continued refinement of artificial superintelligence. The Chinese and Russians won't stop, and the Americans cannot stop. The continued refinement of existing technologies means they must keep the training, research, and development going so that their artificial superintelligence stays ahead of the technology. But what if this happens, Brian? What if, like Dr. Robert Duncan says, they're scaling this up for the whole public, and the vaccines being put into people, and people who have nanotechnology and everything. So then the whole population is then ready to be hit with this stuff and hooked into this stuff. They start hooking in more and more people, but since they've been torturing us for so long and doing trauma-based mind control, they've got it to where they're getting it to where it's quicker. The mind control is quicker, and so they hook it into a lot of people, and then it's like these programs where they're doing the intense stuff could end, right? Or they make them more. No, I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know what's going to happen, but this is all going to change, and we need to step in there, because the only thing that we need is for the topic to become like a common thing to talk about. Like, oh man, people are getting hit with remote microwaves, blah blah. We just need it. We need that, crossing that barrier where it's a topic that the truth community is talking about and other people are talking about, and it's just something that's known. Oh, I'm having trouble. My brain's having a lot of trouble right now. Yeah, sleep. That's good. Sleeping Beauty says, I do believe that the people will stop these crimes. Sleeping Beauty says, these are the most horrific crimes known, and as knowledge grows, there will be a demand for it to stop. Yeah, it's growing. It's like the people getting angry about this and finding out about it, and people in Poland. Like people in Poland, the Polish Prime Minister admitted that there were problems with people being hit with microwave weapons in Poland. So Poland has basically admitted that it's happening. Hey, thank you for coming, Politically Persecuted. Yeah, guys, I think I'm going to go ahead and stop this live stream, but I have some more important information about microwaves hitting Indian soldiers, right? And it has nothing to do with this, and it's a whole nother thing. So I mean, there's tons of new articles about microwaves, being used on people. Yeah, Gloria Quino says, so hideous and wicked, God will repay big time, and we will see their destruction. Yes. Brittany J says, hi, I'm back. Hey, Brittany, welcome back. I'm kind of about to close it out, guys. I'm going to close it out with a prayer. Yeah, I hope you get some good Z's, please. Nah, those are the wrong numbers, Brian. I think you're right in theory that there are cyber agents, but I think at this time where everything's going, we have more targeted individuals in places than these cyber-placed agents. We're outnumbering them. Maybe back, okay, let me read your comment, but I disagree with the numbers that you're saying. Brian 2 says 8 out of 10, 9 out of 10 in chat rooms are either chatterbox or cyber stalkers. Dr. Robert Duncan interviewed 2,000 TIs, and he stated that 70% were fake. Well, how did he know that? Like, they may have just, has a pretty specific thing that he worked on. So Dr. Robert Duncan would listen to me, and he'd be like, oh, that's a real TI. But there are TIs out there that, the Marine Corps are experimenting on them, and they're just doing external hits and then just monitoring their brain, but not actually manipulating stuff like that. So there's different stuff. I disagree with those numbers completely. I think it's maybe like 1 out of 20. 1 out of 20 TIs is like a side, because they're not doing it as much. There's too many targeted individuals making sense and speaking in chat rooms and putting out concrete information. If they come in and they say stuff that's just, I think the whole thing they do now is just say crazy stuff. They don't say that we're crazy. They just try and come in as a TI and say kind of bizarre things, but it's not that much. Hey, thank you for coming, Gloria. Gloria says, thank you, Kyle, and everyone who contributed to this awesome gathering today. Much love, everyone. Much love to you, Gloria. Yeah, let's end it with a prayer, guys. Brian says, everything is run by artificial superintelligence, from transport to logistics to finance and so on. It's all run by artificial superintelligence, including warfare strategy. The country with the slightly weaker artificial superintelligence therefore loses every battle, they lose every conflict, so there must be continued refinement of the existing technology of ASI. Yeah, much love to all of you guys. I'm going to say a prayer and kind of close it out. In the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit. In the name of Jesus Christ. Dear Lord, just thank you for everybody that came to the live stream today. Just thank you for this information coming out. Can you make it come out faster, and can you end this program? Can you make this all just, just go well for us and get this torture off of us? Whatever your will. I know the New World Order is coming in, but can you just protect us? Just give us strength every day. Just give us miracles every day. Give us people that we can trust in our life. And just thank you. Thank you for our lives. They are precious. Please just put that in every TI's heart and their mind and their spirit, that they are precious and they have a destiny. And they have a destiny. We all have a destiny, and we're going to keep fighting this. Thank you for everything that you've given us. Thank you for everything that you've given us, the loved ones in our lives, just that we can still breathe in air. Just thank you so much, God, but please give us miracles. Please, just in any TI hurting, just give them strength to get through their pain, or stop their pain, or put defenses in their path. Thank you for everything that you've given us. We're also grateful for our lives and the good things in our life. Please give us miracles, and please help us. Help us against the evil in our world, this great evil that's growing. In the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit, in the name of Jesus Christ. All right, guys, that was a great stream. This is great information. And I'm going to put all those articles in the description so you guys can go through them. And then there's more stuff. I have stuff backlog that's like really, really important, and it's also about people being hit with microwaves. And it's just like, it's just gushing out. It's gushing out. Yeah, Dennis K says, I found rural areas help me most. My attacks are infrastructure related. Yeah, you kind of get away from microwave towers and stuff, so it's a lot less. But I feel like over the horizon radar can go like into some pretty rural places. Hey, thank you for coming, Sleeping Beauty. Sleeping Beauty says, amen. Thank you, Kyle. Good night, everyone, and much love. Much love, Sleeping Beauty. Thank you for bringing info to the live stream. Thank you, everybody, for bringing good info and stuff. That's why I never do like videos without the live stream, because I'm so ADD, and y'all bring good information, and this is just it's good. This is good. A bunch of smart TIs fighting this. I just don't see how. No, she isn't, Brian. I know Tanya. Brian. Hey, Brian, try Dave's CD. It'll help you, man. Like, for real. Hey, thank you for coming, Steven. Yeah, don't do that, Brian. Don't do that to people. That, like, hurts other targeted individuals. Think about how bad that you're hurt, Brian, when somebody comes up and gang stalks you. Doing that to TIs who go through so much pain and just going, oh, that's Chatterbox, blah, blah. And they're like, oh, then they probably watch your videos and stuff. Kind of think twice about that. Oh, man. Hey, bye, Christina. Thank you for coming. I'm not going to be able to say bye to everybody, guys. But I love all you guys. And I'll be back. I'm going to try and do as much as I can. I'm a little bit worried about tonight, to be honest. Because they're hitting me so hard in the top of the... I just got to do it. I'll get through it. I'm going to put my lead out. I'll just listen to Dave's CD tonight or something. I had definitely taken Neurontin, and I told everybody I'm taking Kratom again. Like, I have to. The pain was too bad. I was feeling the physical, external pain. Like, I went through the withdrawals of Kratom and waited like 3 weeks, and then 3 weeks like in total, and I had to get back on it. And I'm just taking a little bit. I'm not taking like tons, but it like does something to the nervous system where I'm not feeling the external pains, external hits as much. Yeah.
Hey, thank you, DePlume, for coming. Um, and that's what I kind of agree with WDPK837. It says, assume all people are not perps until proven otherwise. What I would say is there are going to be cyber-placed agents. There might even be, fake TIs or something in positions of leadership or something like that. I don't know. Like, I'm not accusing anyone. I'm just saying when I started making videos in 2014, we were all the way down the field. We had 200 yards to go to the end zone. Right now, guys, I feel like we're at the 15 to the 10, the 15 or 10 yard line away from the end zone. And if we get a good pass play, we can get in the end zone. But if we just keep moving forward on these short plays, we can also get in the end zone. So I don't even watch football a lot, but I just feel like that's a good metaphor. 2014, I felt like we had the whole field to go, and it was just going to be, an endless fight. And now I feel like we're on the 10 to 15 yard line. We still got a ways to go, and I don't know how it's going to work out, but it's going to be good. So it's gonna be good for us, and we got to face all the New World Order stuff with everybody else. Yeah, don't check. Christina said, "Are you on Facebook, Kyle? I sent you a friend request." I don't check it a lot, and I don't even really post my videos on there. But I'll check it, and I'll return your request. Nobody says I like football. I'll watch it. I watch when LSU just played. They played Arkansas. LSU just played Arkansas. My attacker just said Arkansas. And it was a pretty good game. It was like really close. I liked it. I just don't watch it a lot, you know. All right, guys. I love y'all. I love y'all, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Just stay strong. This is good information to have to show somebody who maybe doesn't believe you or something, but even more information is coming out about this stuff. And I feel like this is, it's coming out. This is the time for it to come out. Hey, thanks for coming, nobody. I love you guys. I love you guys. Let's pray for each other. Let's stay strong. And I'll see you guys soon. I'm gonna get through my pain and stuff, and we gotta do this. God's gonna protect me. Jesus is gonna put his arms around me. Like I pray for the blood of Jesus over me and the blood of Jesus over you guys. And for anything your attackers are taking away to come back to you and be covered by the blood of Jesus. We've got to speak these healing words. Speak these healing words, and it works. I agree with that. Brian, read what New Type says. That's very wise. New Type says, I've seen your videos during your attacks, Brian. They are sending impulses that modulate your perceptions. If they can do it, so can you. Use your mind to relegate those signals to background noise. Brian, they make me paranoid. Like the remote neural manipulation makes me paranoid of people that I know are TIs, that I've seen make videos, and I've gotten paranoid of them. So the remote neural manipulation is going on, and they can make you just like think that everybody is a perp, And I know there are real perps, but it gets out of hand sometimes. There are real I would say I didn't even notice like a perp in my chat on this live stream. Fill it up and thank you for coming, Eternity Eternal. You fill it up with a bunch of logical TIs, right? We built that with this channel. So it's like we got to kind of keep that going, and then if they come in, like one cyberplace agent comes in and says something like, you guys are nuts, they're way outnumbered by smart, logical, targeted individuals. They don't want to come to my channel because we make sense. So we keep making sense, and they won't come. All right, I love you guys. I'll see you on the next one. Just stay strong, and we'll be doing, I got a lot of stuff that I want to do. I'll try and get it out. You guys know how it is. I'm kind of worried about tonight. My attackers are not. They're sounding like they're getting prepared. All right, guys. I love